My beloved, you didn't stumble here by accident. I brought you. And deep down, in the quietest chamber of your heart, you already know it's true. Even if your mind still spins with 1,000 questions, something ancient inside you recognized my voice the instant these words touched your eyes. You felt it, that soft hush, that sudden breath of calm, that unmistakable sense of finally arriving. That was me. I drew you close not to hand you shallow comfort, but to place into your hands the very word your soul has been gasping for in the dark. You have carried burdens that would have crushed others. You have smiled while your insides crumbled. You have walked through nights when your thoughts screamed louder than any prayer you could form. I never looked away, not for 1 second. Every tear I caught, every silent scream I heard, every time you whispered, "I can't keep going," I was nearer than your own heartbeat. And what you are reading right now is not coincidence. It is appointment. It is heaven answering back. It is my voice, crafted and timed for you alone. I know trust feels impossible after so many promises broke against your life. That is why I'm not asking you to trust these sentences yet. I'm asking you to trust what is happening inside you at this very moment. The way your breathing just slowed, the way the ache in your chest just eased, the way the smallest flame of hope dared to flicker again. That is not emotion. That is not adrenaline. That is me, confirming that I heard every prayer you stopped believing would ever be answered. You asked for a sign. You begged for rescue in the middle of your storm. This is it. Not because I finally noticed you, but because the moment I ordained before the foundation of the world has arrived. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. You are precisely on time, because I have been guarding you, shaping you, positioning you for everything that is about to unfold. Don't turn away. Don't scroll past. Don't close the door of your heart like you've done so many times before. I know why you do it. Hope has wounded you deeply. People who carried my name have wounded you even more. But I am not them. My promises do not expire. My love does not weaken when you are weak. Beneath all your exhaustion, I still see it. The tiny, trembling flame of faith you thought had gone out. That is all I need. That is more than enough. If you stay with me just a little longer, I will breathe on that ember until it becomes a blazing fire again. You stand at a sacred hinge in time. Walk away now and the old cycles keep their grip. Stay, and I shatter them. I pull you out of the fog, flood you with clarity, pour healing into every wound, and hand you strength you thought you had lost forever. This is not manipulation. This is not guilt. This is the one who formed you in secret, who numbered every hair on your head, speaking with fierce, unrelenting tenderness. You are chosen. You are seen. You are loved beyond your wildest imagination. And right now, I am awakening something inside you that discouragement tried to bury forever. The battles were never punishment. They were preparation. The silence was never abandonment. It was refinement. The pain was never wasted. It forged a strength in you that nothing can destroy. Now I am lifting every burden you were never meant to carry alone. Lay it down. Rest, not because the journey is finished, but because the striving is. You do not have to prove yourself anymore. My grace is not a trophy for perfection. It is oxygen for the weary. Even when your faith is barely a whisper, I call it courage. Even when you barely survive the day, I call it victory. I am not disappointed in your struggle. I am undone by your refusal to quit. Lift your eyes, not because the storm is over, but because I am greater than the storm. I was with you in every moment you thought I was silent. I wept when you wept. I blocked what would have destroyed you. I turned every scheme of the enemy into soil where your future will grow tall and unshakable. You are not lost. You are being rerouted. You are not behind. You are being readied. What the world calls delay, I call design. I am the redeemer of time, the restorer of every year the locusts ate. Hear me clearly, beloved. You are not too far gone. You have not missed your moment. The calling I wrote into your bones cannot be erased by weakness or failure. The gifts I placed in you are irrevocable. When you are empty, I fill every crack. When you are unsure, I become your certainty. When you are exhausted, I become your strength. Rest now, not because the work is done, but because the striving is finished. Lay down the pressure to perform. Let go of comparison. You were never meant to run anyone else's race. You were meant to walk with me, and I will lead you on a path that may confuse many, but its fruit will silence every doubt. Give me your future. Give me the timelines you imposed. Give me the dreams you buried because they hurt too much to hold. I am resurrecting them. I am redeeming what you thought was wasted. I am restoring the years you mourned. And I am doing it not because you finally earned it, but because that is who I am. Faithful when you feel faithless, constant when everything else shifts. The pain you survived has not been ignored. The nights your pillow drowned in tears have not gone unnoticed. The mornings you forced yourself out of bed when every part of you wanted to disappear. I was there. You became a master at hiding, at pretending, at surviving on fumes. But I see beneath every mask. And I am not here to shame you for your silence. I am here to redeem every second of it. You carried guilt that was never yours. You punished yourself with words I never spoke. But I paid for your freedom so you would never have to live chained again. The enemy wants you to believe one fall erased my love. He is a liar. You were never beyond my reach. And right now, in this very breath, I am reaching into every locked room of your heart and declaring, you are free. You are forgiven. You are mine, completely, irrevocably mine. I love every version of you, the polished one and the shattered one, the strong one and the one who can barely stand. Healing is not only possible, it is already moving inside you, shifting foundations, rewiring lies, rebuilding you stronger, wiser, softer, deeper. Let your guard down with me. You don't have to rehearse your pain or justify your struggle. Just come. Bring me your silence. Bring me your shame-soaked memories. I am not afraid of any of it. I already saw it all, and I stayed. I chose you at your lowest. I walked with you through every failure, not to condemn you, but to prove nothing can separate you from my love. You are a living testimony of grace that held when you had nothing left to give, of strength that flowed through you, not from you. Stop minimizing what you've overcome. Stop apologizing for the scars that prove you survived. Every brutal season was preparing you for what's ahead. You walked through fire, and the flames did not consume you. I protected what mattered most, your essence, your calling, your future. Now I am calling you out of the ashes, out of shame's shadow, out of every false name pain tried to give you. I rename you by my truth alone, chosen, loved, whole. Begin to see yourself through my eyes. You cannot walk into the future I've prepared while clutching lies about who you are. I am stripping them away, layer by layer, and restoring your true reflection. You feel you've lost years, that too much time has slipped away. But I am the redeemer of time. I waste nothing. What felt like delay was protection. What felt like denial was preparation. You weren't ready then, not because you were lacking, but because I was still forming you. Now everything is coming into alignment. Doors are opening. Healing is accelerating. Vision is returning, not because you finally got it all right, but because you stayed. You kept showing up. You kept hoping when hope hurt. And that kind of faith moves my heart. Breathe deeply. Let the past fall from your shoulders like chains you no longer have to drag. Let your heartbeat sink with grace. Let my voice drown out every echo of doubt, shame, and fear. You are not who you were. You will never go back to what broke you. I am making all things new, starting with the way you see yourself. You don't need permission from the world to heal. You don't need anyone else to validate your pain before you release it. I have already declared you free, whole, marked with eternal purpose. The healing you long for begins right here, with my voice reshaping everything you believe about yourself, about me, about the life ahead. I am not just patching your wounds. I am changing the way you walk so you stop reopening the same injuries. I am rebuilding the ground beneath your feet. My presence is not only for mountaintops. It is for the quiet, unseen moments when no one claps and you feel anything but spiritual. I am the God who sits beside you when words fail, when hands tremble, when your soul is bone-tired. I see faith in the way you keep coming back to me even when you feel weakest. I treasure the tenderness you still carry after everything you've endured. You stayed soft when the world taught you to harden. Stop calling that weakness. It is your greatest strength. It is the very thing that keeps your heart alive in a numb generation. I placed that softness in you on purpose. Now I am teaching you to carry it without fear, guarded by trust, guided by wisdom. Stop rehearsing every future pain. That isn't faith, it's fear wearing control's mask. I have already walked every step ahead of you. I cleared the traps. I blocked the arrows you'll never see. My love doesn't just comfort after the fact. It protects before the battle begins. Lift your expectations again. Expect goodness. Expect restoration. Expect answers. Expect beauty rising from every ash heap. I am not limited by what broke you. I am not holding back because you stumbled. If anything, I pour even more grace because you kept believing when it hurt the most. Your story is sacred. Your timeline is not behind. Every detour had purpose. Every closed door was mercy. Stop apologizing for where you are and start embracing who you are. Deeply loved, wholly chosen, completely mine. Silence every voice that contradicts mine. You are not the sum of your worst moments. You are not the echo of rejection. You are the echo of my breath that spoke galaxies into being. Your value is not in what you do. It is in whose you are. And because you are mine, you are never alone. Not in the valley, not in the waiting, not in the dark. I am carrying what you cannot. If you could see even a glimpse of what's coming, you would drop every worry and lift your hands in worship. So stay present. Stay open. I am about to awaken a joy in you that has been sleeping far too long. You were never meant to carry this alone. I never asked you to be your own savior. Your weakness is not failure. It is the doorway to my strength. In my kingdom, the trembling are lifted high. The broken are made whole. The unseen are crowned. I do not reject the ones who come shaking. I run to them. You have done the impossible with what you had, loved through pain, hoped in shadows, held on by a thread. I honor every unseen fight. But now I am teaching you to live beyond survival. There is thriving ahead. There is laughter that will not feel forced. There is peace that will not flee when storms return. You are already covered, already loved, already worthy, already enough. You can stop running. Come sit with me. Let me hold every piece you've been juggling. I know what broke you. I know who walked away. I know what you lost. And I know what's coming. The joy rising, the peace returning, the beauty I am weaving from every tear. I never waste pain. Your greatest grief will become your greatest growth. What the enemy meant to destroy you with, I will use to bless generations through you. Your healing will ripple far beyond you. You've walked a wilderness I never intended to leave you in. It was preparation, not punishment. You stayed when many would have walked away. For that I will overwhelm you with goodness you did not earn, but simply endured long enough to receive. You have been strong so long you forgot what it feels like to be held. I am here now, not as a distant overseer, but as your father, ready to carry you. Trade your pressure for my peace. You already have my approval. You don't have to pretend anymore. Lean into me without fear. I am in the silence you've been running from. I am restoring your vision, not just of tomorrow, but of yourself. It's time to come out of hiding. The world needs the real you, fully alive, fully healed, fully mine. The promises over your life are not canceled. They've been waiting for the right time. And I am not slow. I have been preparing both the blessing in your heart, because who you become matters more to me than what you receive. I don't need perfect conditions. I need your trembling yes. The raw, scared, honest one. That is the yes that moves heaven. Closed doors were mercy. Broken relationships were rescue. Delayed answers were protection. Trust that I am good, even when the answer is not yet. Every prayer is heard. Every tear is stored. Every secret act of faithfulness is seen. I will reward what no one else noticed. Come back to me empty, and I will fill you. Come broken, and I will restore you. Come weary, and I will give you rest. Not by force, but by my spirit gently breathing life into every dry place. If you stay close, if you stay willing, you will walk into more than you dared imagine. Your faith has trembled, but it has never failed. Silence was never absence. It was me building roots too deep for any storm to uproot. What feels like delay is mercy. What feels like pressure is me shaping a vessel strong enough to carry what's next. I do not pour new wine into old wineskins. You asked me to make you whole. Sometimes wholeness requires breaking first. Sometimes depth requires descent. You are not being punished. You are being pruned. And pruning hurts. But oh, the fruit that is coming. Stay open. Stay soft. Stay with me. I am kind in every process, and I never leave you alone. The exit you've prayed for is nearer than you think. The breakthrough is closer than yesterday. But greater than what's coming is what's already true. You are still standing, still tender, still reaching. That is the miracle. You endured with belief when bitterness would have been easier. Even your whisper prayers moved my heart. I never left. I never will. You've been through enough to make most quit. Yet here you are, breathing, reading, reaching. That is not accident. That is purpose burning quietly inside you. The fire never went out. My hand never lifted. There is a reason this moment found you. You are not finished. You haven't seen the final chapter one I'm writing. You measure loss. I measure endurance. You see broken pieces. I see battle scars that scream you never gave up. I see the strength you refuse to acknowledge. You are mine, and I am making all things new, starting with you. I see the prayers you forgot you prayed. I see the moments when your tears said more than your words ever could. I've been close in every one of them, not watching from afar, but standing at your side, whispering comfort, guiding you, shielding you in ways you never noticed. Even the very fact that you are reading this now is part of that guidance. Because I needed to remind you that what's ahead is not determined by what's behind. You are not sentenced to repeat the pain. You are being positioned for restoration, and I won't let you miss it. You've asked me in the quiet places of your heart if it was really possible to be healed, not just patched up or functional, but fully healed, deeply restored, truly free. And my answer is yes. It has always been yes. I didn't promise you survival so you could merely exist. I promised you life abundant, radiant, meaningful life. A life where peace isn't temporary, where joy doesn't need a reason, where love isn't earned but received, where identity isn't a performance but a gift. That is what I've been leading you toward. And yes, the path here has been painful, but that pain has carved space for deeper beauty, for greater strength, for unshakable wisdom. I know there are still shadows in your heart, memories that linger, lies that still whisper, moments you wish you could erase. But hear me, I am not asking you to pretend those things never happened. I'm asking you to let me redeem them. What was meant to destroy, you will become the very soil from which your next chapter blooms. I am the God who turns graves into gardens, mourning into dancing, sorrow into strength. You are not disqualified by your past. You are not beyond hope. In fact, your scars are the places where my glory will shine the brightest. Because when the world sees your healing, they'll know it wasn't you. It was me. And through your testimony, others will find their own path to freedom. You've been holding back your dreams, holding back your voice, holding back your heart out of fear that if you go Allen again, it might fall apart. But I'm telling you, now, you don't need to protect yourself from me. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to fulfill what I promised. I'm not calling you forward to disappoint you. I'm calling you forward to expand you, to awaken you, to release the fullness of what I created in you before time began. You don't need to shrink to be safe. You don't need to silence yourself, to stay unseen. I gave you that vision. I gave you that compassion. I gave you that fire in your chest. Don't let fear talk you out of what I've put inside you. This is your moment to step into alignment, not with the opinions of others, but with the truth I've already spoken over you. I'm bringing restoration to places you've already grieved as lost, relationships that seemed fractured beyond repair, dreams that felt like they had expired, passions you buried under the weight of responsibility. I'm breathing life into all of it, not to take you back to who you were, but to release you into who you're becoming. You don't have to try to recreate the past. I'm doing something new, and it's better. It's deeper. It's designed for who you are now. The you who has learned, who has grown, who has wept and endured and kept going. You don't need to apologize for changing. The people who are meant to walk with you now will recognize who you've become. And those who can't see it, they were never meant to go where I'm taking you. Stop waiting for everything to make sense before you trust me. If clarity was the prerequisite for obedience, you'd never take the first step. But I never asked you to have the full picture. I asked you to follow my voice. And right now, my voice is calling you deeper into trust, into peace, into movement. You don't need to have the map. You just need to take the next step. I'll meet you there. I always do. And when you get tired, I'll carry you. When you feel confused, I'll steady you. When you forget the way, I'll whisper the truth again. I have never left you to figure this out on your own. I have never expected perfection. All I've ever wanted was your heart fully, honestly, vulnerably. There is a freedom coming that you haven't known before. A lightness in your soul, a calm that doesn't leave when life gets loud, a joy that doesn't depend on circumstances. That's the fruit of trusting me. That's what happens when you lay down the armor, the masks, the weight, and let me be the strength you've been trying to become on your own. I'm not asking you to be more. I'm asking you to receive more, to receive peace instead of pressure, to receive identity instead of insecurity, to receive rest instead of rushing. That's how you will move from striving to soaring, not because you worked harder, but because you finally let me carry what you were never meant to hold. I'm not just healing your wounds. I'm restoring your confidence, the kind of confidence that doesn't come from applause or validation, but from knowing you are walking with me. You've second-guessed yourself for too long, overthinking every decision, hesitating at every turn, shrinking your voice to avoid judgment. But I didn't give you a spirit of fear. I didn't place boldness in your spirit only for you to bury it beneath anxiety. I gave you power. I gave you love. I gave you a sound, clear mind. And now I am calling that boldness back to life. Not a boldness that pretends to be invincible, but one that walks with quiet authority, rooted in my presence. I want you to walk again with your head held high, not because of pride, but because of peace. There's a maturity being formed in you, the kind that doesn't need everything to be easy in order to feel secure. You've learned how to stand in the middle of unanswered prayers and still believe. You've learned to worship through the silence, to give even when it cost you, to love when it wasn't returned. That's the kind of heart I trust with more. And you are ready now, even if you don't feel like it. You're ready not because you've mastered everything, but because you've surrendered. You've let me into the parts you used to hide. You've laid down the performance. You've dropped the facade. You've let me meet you in the honesty of your brokenness. And now I'm rebuilding you from a foundation of truth. The people around you might not understand what's happening in you, but that's okay. I'm not doing this work for their approval. I'm doing it because I love you, because I called you, because I've marked you for something that won't always make sense to those who haven't walked your path. Stop trying to explain your process to people who weren't meant to understand it. Stop seeking validation from voices that don't speak from my spirit. This is your sacred journey, and some parts of it are meant to be between you and me. Let the fruit speak for itself. Let your life be the evidence. You don't have to argue. You don't have to prove anything. You just have to keep growing. I'm proud of the way you've persevered in secret, the strength you've shown when no one was watching, the kindness you've given when it wasn't acknowledged, the forgiveness you've offered when you had every reason to stay bitter. I saw it all, and I'm telling you now, I will not let it go unrewarded. I am a God of justice, and I am releasing compensation for every silent sacrifice, every uncelebrated victory, every faithful seed you've planted. The reward isn't just in material things. It's in peace. It's in restored relationships. It's in opportunities no one else can take credit for. It's in joy that doesn't break when life gets hard. I am not mocked. What you sowed in faith, you will reap in blessing. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is your season of reclamation. I'm giving you back your voice, your joy, your passion, your clarity, your courage. The things that trials tried to steal. I'm returning not as they were, but better, stronger, refined by fire. I'm restoring your sense of direction, your spiritual sensitivity, your emotional stability. You've wandered in confusion long enough. You've tolerated internal chaos that I never asked you to carry. But no, more. I'm speaking order into your inner world. I'm silencing every lie that told you were too late, too broken, too far behind. I'm removing the weight of regret. You don't live in the past anymore. You are walking into resurrection, into newness, into life that doesn't resemble what came before. And as I restore you, I'm also releasing you into new spaces, into assignments that match your maturity, into opportunities that align with who you truly are now. I'm calling you out of rooms where you had to beg to be seen, and into places where your presence will be honored, your voice will be respected, your anointing will be recognized. I'm not sending you to impress. I'm sending you to impact. The time of shrinking is over. The season of questioning your significance is ending. You are not a background character in your own story. You are not invisible to me. You never have been. And now I'm bringing visibility to what I've been building in secret. You've walked through hidden battles, fought demons in silence, overcame storms that would have crushed others. And you did it while still choosing love, still choosing grace, still choosing me. That's why you can stand now in the authority of someone who knows who they belong to. You are no longer a victim of your past. You are no longer under the weight of what once broke you. You are no longer defined by what didn't happen or who didn't stay. You are defined by my spirit. And my spirit says you are strong. You are steady. You are chosen. You are mine. And as you step into this next part of the journey, I want you to remember that nothing is wasted. Not the pain, not the delay, not the detour. It was all part of the shaping. It was all part of the refining. You may not have understood it then, but you will. You'll look back and see my fingerprints on every part of the story. You'll see how even the things that didn't work out were used to push you forward. You'll see that what the enemy meant for evil, I turned into a foundation for miracles. And most of all, you'll see that I never left. Not once. Even when you doubted me, even when you were angry, even when you tried to walk away, I stayed. I stayed because my love is not fragile. I stayed because my covenant is not based on your perfection. I stayed because I know the end of your story, and it is good. So don't let your current circumstances convince you otherwise. Don't let the temporary noise drown out my eternal promise. You are closer than you think. You are stronger than you realize, and you are right on time. You've walked through fire and remained soft. You've been broken and still chose to love. You've endured silence and still kept praying. And now I want you to know, not just in your mind, but in the deepest place of your being, that you are not the same. What you've carried didn't crush you. What you've lost didn't define you. What you faced didn't destroy you. Instead, it shaped you. It deepened you. It prepared you for what only the refined can carry. I don't choose the strongest by the world's standards. I choose the willing. I don't anoint the ones who appear perfect. I anoint the ones who stay surrendered. And you, beloved, have surrendered in ways you didn't even realize. Every time you whispered, I trust you, even when you didn't feel it, that was surrender. Every time you chose forgiveness, when bitterness felt easier, that was surrender. Every time you stayed present, when your soul wanted to escape, that was surrender. And I have seen every act of it. I have honored every breath of it. You thought the cost would break you. But I tell you now, the cost has crowned you. It has marked you with compassion, with wisdom, with resilience that only comes through the fire. And now that fire is turning into fuel, that mourning is making way for joy. That battle is becoming your testimony. You will speak from a place of authority, not because you learned the theory, but because you lived the pain and I brought you through. You won't have to prove anything. The atmosphere around you will shift when you walk into the room. Not because of your charisma, but because of the oil that now rests on your life. You've paid a price, and now you carry presence. My presence, and that will open doors you never even knocked on. That will soften hearts before you speak. That will break chains without effort. Because when I dwell in you fully, you become the vessel through which heaven touches earth. You've been asking me if it was worth it. All the tears, all the waiting, all the loss, all the letting go. Let me answer you clearly now. Yes, 1,000 times. Yes, because I'm not just giving you back what was taken. I'm giving you what eyes haven't seen, what ears haven't heard, what hearts haven't imagined, but what I've always had prepared for those who love me. And you love me even when you've doubted, even when you've failed, even when you've questioned. Your love has been real and I receive it. I honor it and I respond to it. And now I'm responding not just with words, but with movement, with open doors, with healed hearts, with divine connections, with provision in the very places that used to feel dry. You're about to see it. Not just sense it, not just hope for it, but see it. Tangible shifts, clear signs, miraculous turnarounds, answers that feel like sudden breakthroughs, but that have been long in the making. I'm not blessing you to impress the world. I'm blessing you because it's time. Because the story I'm writing through your life needs this chapter. Because your testimony will not only free others, it will glorify me. And I will not allow the enemy to write the final word over your story. I never gave him that authority. I never gave your trauma the pen. I never gave your failures the final sentence. I hold the pen. And what I write cannot be erased by man, by fear, by time, or by darkness. You are about to walk in favor that makes no sense to those who watched you fall. In peace that confuses those who knew your chaos. In joy that seems too deep for someone who suffered so much. But that's what I do. I redeem. I restore. I overflow. And I don't need you to understand it all right now. I just need you to stay available. Stay yielded. Stay in step with my spirit. Let me do the heavy lifting. Let me carry the things you still try to control. Let me take you into places that feel too big for you, because that's where I get the most glory. I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking for proximity. Stay close. That's where the miracles live. You're not entering this new season the same way you left the last one. The baggage you carried is falling off. The lies you believed are being uprooted. The weariness you once wore is being replaced by strength. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not too damaged. You are right on time. And I am not disappointed in how long it's taken. I was with you every step, even in the wandering, even in the doubting, even in the delay. And now, with gentleness and power, I'm saying, it's time. Rise. Step forward. Take what I've placed in your hands. You are ready, not because you feel ready, but because I've declared it. And when I declare something, it is so. You didn't arrive here by chance. Something far greater than logic or coincidence brought you to this exact moment. And whether you realized it or not, your heart has been longing for this. You've been searching for reassurance, for peace, for clarity. And now I am here to speak directly to your soul. I am the one who shaped you, the one who has walked with you through every shadow and every silence. And now I come not only to calm your fears, but to awaken your trust again. Because what I have to say to you will not simply comfort you, it will rebuild you. It will revive the part of you that has gone quiet. The part that has been hidden beneath fear, exhaustion, and doubt. This message is not general. It is not vague. It is not something meant for someone else. It is yours, crafted for your season, your struggle, your next step. You've carried so much lately. The tension in your chest, the worries in your mind, the battles no one else sees. They've been heavier than you've admitted. You've told yourself to stay strong. You've pushed through. You've kept the smile. But deep down, you've wondered how long you can keep going like this. You've been functioning, but not really living. You've been enduring, but not really breathing. And that's why I stepped in. Now, because I never created you to live in survival mode. I never called you to a life where peace feels distant and hope feels delayed. I didn't form your soul to be tormented by what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. I designed you for more. And it's time. You feel that again. Do not be afraid. That is not just a gentle phrase. I'm giving it to you as a command because fear has been lying to you for too long. It has stolen your joy, distorted your vision, drained your energy, and silenced your confidence. But I am greater than your fear. And right now, I am replacing it with truth. The truth that I go before you. The truth that I have already made a way. The truth that no matter what comes, I will be with you in it, not after it. Not when it gets easier in it. I don't wait for the storm to pass to speak peace. I speak peace in the middle of it. And if you'll trust me now, you'll begin to see how my presence changes. Everything, even when nothing else around you has shifted yet. I see how hard you try. I see how much you've been holding together for others, for yourself, for appearances. I see the late-night thoughts you wrestle with, the invisible battles that wear you down, the pressure to be strong when all you want is to rest. And I want you to. No, I don't expect you to be perfect. I expect you to be real with me. Because I never called you to impress me. I called you to know me. I want you to trust Mano. With the version of yourself you try to present to the world, but with the raw, tired, sometimes confused version that wakes up each day and tries again. I am not disappointed in you. I am not frustrated with your struggle. I am near to the brokenhearted, and I will not turn away from your weakness. In fact, it is in your weakness that my strength is revealed. So don't panic. Don't let the delay make you think I've forgotten. Don't let the tension convince you that something's wrong. What's happening is not a punishment. It's preparation. I am building something within you that will not collapse under pressure. I am allowing things to be tested not to destroy you, but to purify what's been cluttered and strengthen what's been shaken. You prayed for a future filled with purpose, healing, and joy, but you didn't realize that some of that would require letting go of what can't go with you. That's what's been happening. The pruning, the quietness, the closed doors, they weren't rejection. They were redirection. And you're closer to the breakthrough than you think. Let your heart be still. Again, stop replaying what went wrong. Stop rehearsing every scenario. Stop comparing your progress. The time you feel you've lost. I will restore the clarity you feel you've missed. I will reveal the strength you thought you had to earn. I will provide. I'm not distant. I'm not silent. I'm not withholding anything from you. I am setting you up to receive more than you asked for, but in a way that ensures you won't lose it this time because I care more about your wholeness than your hurry. And I will not give you something too soon if it will crush you instead of. Bless you. I know what you're ready for. I know what needs to heal before you. Hold it. And I know exactly how to guide you from where you are to where I've promised you will be. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. You are not cursed. You are not losing. You are not being punished. You are in process. And processes are messy. They feel confusing, stretching, sometimes even painful. But they are also sacred because they mean something is being transformed, something is being rebuilt, something is being born. And that's exactly what's happening within you right now. You don't have to see it all clearly. You don't have to explain it. You just have to keep walking step by step, moment by moment, breath by breath, knowing that I am walking with you. And I'm not just beside you. I'm ahead of you, clearing paths. I'm behind you, protecting what tried to chase you. And I'm within you, sustaining the part of you that feels too weak to continue. So breathe, not just with your lungs, but with your soul. Let the pressure fall off of you. Let the lie that says you're not doing enough fall silent. Let the weight. That's not your slip from your shoulders. I am not asking you to figure it all out today. I'm asking you to trust that I have. And in that trust, you will find peace. No, because the chaos disappeared, but because you realized I am greater than it. That I never leave your side. That I am always working, always present, always faithful. And that is enough. Let your heart start here in this awareness. Let your soul receive what your mind can't yet explain. Because from this very moment forward, everything begins to shift. Not because your surroundings suddenly became perfect, but because your perspective is being renewed by truth. And that truth is this: I am not only for you, I am actively with you. You don't have to wait for a sign in the sky or a miraculous escape to know I'm present. My nearness isn't proved by the absence of conflict, it's revealed in the comfort I give you in the middle of it. When you wake up and feel that quiet strength within you, even if nothing has changed around you, that's me. When you begin to cry without knowing why and feel peace wash over you, that's me. When an old fear rises up but doesn't have the same grip anymore, that's me too. I'm not far. I'm not vague. I'm here. And I'm moving in ways your heart can sense before your eyes can see. You've been asking me to fix things. You've prayed for clarity, for provision, for protection, for open doors, and I've heard every word. But today, I'm offering you something even deeper. I'm offering you alignment, because when your heart aligns with mine, peace is no longer dependent on circumstances. When you begin to see things through my lens, you realize that some delays were shields, some losses were mercy, and some closed doors were my kindness in disguise. You begin to understand that I've never withheld anything that was truly meant for you. And even when it hurt, even when it didn't make sense, I was still good, still intentional, still guiding you. You weren't being punished, you were being protected. Not every blessing looks like an immediate yes. Sometimes it looks like a pause or a redirection, or an ending you didn't choose, but needed. And in this moment, I'm not asking you to figure out the future. I'm not asking you to fix everything around you. I'm not even asking you to understand why things happen the way they did. I'm asking you to stay close to me. Because when your heart is near mine, when you make space to hear me, again, everything else becomes secondary. Your anxiety quiets. Your pressure lifts. Your breath deepens. Your vision clears. Not because I answered every question, but because you remembered who I am. I am the same one who rescued you before. The same one who whispered to you in the silence. The same one who provided when you thought all was lost. The same one who kept you when you wanted to give up. I haven't changed, and I never will. My love is not seasonal. My faithfulness isn't conditional. My plans for you haven't expired just because time passed. You are still my child, still chosen, still covered, still deeply known and fully loved. And that's why I'm here speaking to you now, because I'm not letting you drown in this wave of pressure. I'm not letting you be buried under the lies that tell you you've failed or missed your moment. You haven't missed anything. I intended for you. What's yours in me cannot be stolen, cannot be lost, cannot be revoked. The enemy might have tried to confuse you. Life might have tried to delay you, but I'm still holding the pen, still writing your story, still weaving the details together in ways that will leave you in awe. You don't have to strive for what's already yours. You don't have to beg for what I've already promised. You just have to remain in me, and everything you need will flow from that place of rest. I know you want answers. I know you want movement. I know you want the breakthrough to come quickly. But what I'm building in you right now, resilience, trust, intimacy, discernment, is even more important than what you think you need immediately. Because when the breakthrough comes, and it will, you'll carry it with maturity, not fear. You'll walk in it with clarity, not insecurity. You'll sustain it with wisdom, not burnout. That's why I'm preparing you this way, not to punish you, but to root you deeply so that the blessings I pour out don't overwhelm you. They empower you. So don't despise the process. Don't rush past the lessons. Don't resent the quiet seasons. They are sacred. They are forming something within you that success alone never could. This is not just another message to uplift you. This is a realignment of your soul. I am reaching into the very places that have grown weary, the parts of you that have stopped expecting good things, that have braced for disappointment, that have settled for survival. And I'm breathing hope into them again. You were never created to walk this life weighed down by constant worry. You were not made to navigate every storm alone. You were designed to live anchored in my presence, assured by my voice, led by my peace. And even now, as you hear these words, something within you is shifting. That's my spirit moving. That's what renewal feels like. It's quiet, but strong, gentle, but undeniable. You are being reminded not just in your mind, but in your soul that you are safe with me. And if you'll trust this whisper, if you'll lean in instead of pulling back, I'll begin to show you things. I'll reveal clarity you've been longing for. I'll bring divine appointments into your path. I'll reawaken dreams you gave up on. But first, let your soul rest here. Let your spirit remember you are not the one holding the world together. I am. You are not responsible for every outcome. I am. You are not defined by what didn't happen yet. You are defined by the one who holds your identity, and that's me. I am not changing my mind about you. I am not regretting my investment in you. I'm not disappointed in your slow steps. I'm rejoicing that you're still moving forward. Even if it's shaky, even if it's slow, even if you've paused and restarted 1,000 times, I'm proud of you, my dear child. You've carried so much, more than anyone truly knows. You've smiled while silently breaking. You've kept going while feeling empty. You've encouraged others while your own soul was aching for reassurance. But I've seen it all. Every silent battle, every tear you swallowed, every prayer you whispered in the dark when no one else was watching. I was there. I never missed a moment. And I didn't just observe your pain, I absorbed it. I carried the weight with you, even when you couldn't feel me. That ache you thought would never end. I've been tending to it. That loneliness that made you question your worth. I've been covering you with unseen comfort. And now I want to shift the burden. I want to lift what has been crushing your chest, keeping you up at night, and making you feel like you're on the edge of collapse. You were not meant to live in emotional survival mode. You were made for peace that surpasses understanding. And I'm restoring that peace now. The world has tried to harden you, to make you cynical, to convince you that hope is dangerous. But that's not who you are. You are soft in the places that matter, tender in the parts that reflect me. And I'm protecting that softness not as a weakness, but as a sacred strength. Your compassion is not a liability. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. The way you feel deeply, love sacrificially, hope stubbornly, that's my fingerprint on your soul. And even though that sensitivity has made you vulnerable to heartbreak, it has also made you available to carry my heart. That's why you notice the forgotten ones. That's why you cry when others rejoice. That's why your spirit gets heavy even when you don't know why. Because you are tuned into deeper things. and I will use that. I will refine it, not erase it. I will teach you how to carry it with wisdom, not weight. And I will show you how to protect your peace without closing your heart. Your future is not a source of fear. It's a landscape I've already walked ahead of you. I've been where you're going. I've cleared the path. And even when you face valleys, you won't be alone. I walk with you, not behind or above, but beside you, shoulder to shoulder, step by step. You're not late. You're not lost. You're not forgotten. You are divinely guided moment by moment, even when the path seems unclear. What looks like silence is often strategy. What feels like stagnation is preparation, and what seems like delay is me orchestrating the perfect unfolding of a promise that cannot fail. Your timing is being aligned with my divine precision. You are not at the mercy of chaos. You are held within the rhythm of my will, and I never miss a beat. Don't measure your progress by what others are doing. Don't let comparison rob you of peace. Your journey is sacred. Your pace is sacred. Your healing is sacred. You're not behind. You're being rebuilt from the inside out. And that takes time. You're not in competition. You're in communion. And I'd rather see you whole than hurried. I'd rather see you resting in me than racing toward a version of success that doesn't satisfy. So, pause, breathe, receive the truth. That you don't have to strive to be worthy. You already are because I made you worthy with my love. I marked you with my purpose. I sealed you with my spirit. And nothing, no failure, no detour, no broken season can remove what I've placed within you. This is the healing you didn't know you needed. The permission to be where you are without shame. The grace to grow without guilt. The strength to feel without fear. I am restoring your permission to hope, to believe again, to try again, to open your hands and your heart without dreading disappointment. Because what I'm doing in you now is not fragile. It's not temporary. It's not based on feelings or trends or even perfect behavior. It's based on covenant. I have committed myself to you, and I don't break my promises. So even when you break, I don't. Even when you run, I pursue. Even when you forget, I remind. My commitment to you is not based on how well you perform. It's based on who I am, and I am faithful. Even when you're not, you are not defined by your worst moments. You are not summarized by your fears. You are not limited to your mistakes. You are evolving, becoming, awakening, healing. Even now, as you take these words into your soul, something within you is aligning. It's quiet, gentle, deep, but it's real. I am doing a new thing in you. Not outside of you, but within you. I'm renewing the core of who you are. I'm rebuilding the places that shame tried to burn down. I'm breathing fresh vision into the places disappointment tried to close off. I'm awakening the parts of you that were silenced by trauma, buried by heartbreak, or numbed by stress. They're coming alive again. Not because you're trying harder, but because you're allowing me to love you deeper. Stay here a little longer. Let this become your new normal. Not crisis, not pressure, but connection. Let your default setting become peace, not panic. Let your inner voice sound like grace, not guilt. Let your steps be led by peace, not performance. You don't have to be perfect to be in my presence. You just have to be honest, present, open. And that's what you're doing right now. You've opened the door of your heart, and I've entered with peace. I've entered with light. I've entered with healing in my wings. And from this place of safety, you will begin to rebuild your world. Not from fear, but from truth. The truth that you are not fragile. The truth that your heart, though bruised, is not broken beyond restoration. The truth that you are allowed to begin again. Even in the same place where you once failed, you are not stuck. You are simply being rerouted through a path that protects your soul and honors your healing. I'm not taking you in circles to punish you. I'm refining your vision, your discernment, your strength. Every moment of waiting has been filled with my presence. Every closed door was a shield. Every delay was a mercy. And now, what was once confusing will start to make sense, and not all at once, but in the gentle unfolding of grace. You were never meant to understand everything to trust me. Faith isn't about clarity. It's about confidence in who I am. Even when the details are blurry, I've never asked you to have all the answers. I've asked you to walk with me. And in that walk, I teach you what you couldn't learn from certainty. I show you what comfort could never teach. There is strength in the stretching. There is depth in the waiting. There is gold in the pain that surrendered to me. And I've been turning every tear into revelation. You thought you were losing time, but I was giving you treasure. I was maturing your hope. I was anchoring your joy. I was grounding your identity in something deeper than applause, progress, or achievement. I was forming a foundation that cannot be shaken. You're learning now to hear my voice above the noise. You're realizing that not all movement is progress and not all stillness is stagnation. I'm teaching you the rhythms of peace. You're learning to rest in my timing, to breathe in my presence, to live from overflow instead of survival. And that shift, though invisible to others, is changing everything inside you. You're not who you were even a month ago. Something has cracked open in you. You're beginning to believe that maybe, just maybe, you are loved without conditions, that you are safe even in the unknown, that you don't have to fight for what is already yours. And that realization is healing wounds you forgot you had. So, let me take you deeper still. Let me touch the places you've protected out of fear, the places where disappointment built walls, the places where you stopped dreaming because dreaming hurt too much. I know those places. I was there when the hope faded. I was there when the light dimmed. And I'm still here now, not to scold you for shutting down, but to gently open the windows of your heart again, to whisper, you are safe now, to remind you that the pain is not in control anymore. You don't have to hide behind control or achievement or perfection. You don't have to be the strongest one in every room. You don't have to hold it all together to be held. Let me be your strength. Let me carry what was never yours to carry. Even the pressure you feel to always be okay is dissolving now. You don't need to perform wholeness. You are being made whole. You don't need to pretend confidence. You are being established in truth. And even if you still feel the shaking, it doesn't mean you're falling. It means your roots are growing deeper. Your stability isn't found in ease, but in anchoring. I'm anchoring you know in hope, in identity, in grace. I'm rooting you not in performance, but in presence. You are secure, not because you've mastered life, but because you are held by me. There's a version of you on the other side of this healing that you can't even imagine yet. A version of you that laughs freely, rests deeply, loves courageously. A version of you that wakes up without dread, walks without fear, and speaks without apology. That version of you is already being formed, not in some far-off future, but now here in these quiet moments of surrender, in this exact stillness where your soul is finally catching its breath. You don't need to chase transformation. And it's happening because you're staying, because you're softening, because you're listening. That's all I ever wanted. Not a perfect child, but a present one. Not a flawless soul, but a willing one. And that's who you are becoming. You are not missing out. You are not behind. You are not too late. Your journey has not been wasted. It has been woven into something sacred. Even the detours, even the breakdowns, even the silence, I've used it all. Nothing has been lost in my hands. Every pain has been a seed. Every trial a tilling of the soil. And now the harvest is beginning quietly, internally. But soon it will be visible. The joy you planted in tears will rise up in strength. The hope you held with trembling hands will anchor others. The peace that once felt impossible will become your testimony. You were never meant to live in fear of what if. I'm replacing that fear with even if. Even if it doesn't look like you thought, I'll still be good. Even if it takes longer, I'll still be faithful. Even if the outcome shifts, I'll still be with you. That's the unshakable ground you're standing on now. That's the rhythm of grace being written into your soul. And as it deepens, you will find yourself responding differently, calmer, clearer, stronger. Not because you have all the answers, but because you are rooted in me. So let this moment mark you. Let this be the day your inner language changes, the day your posture shifts, the day you begin to walk, not from pressure, but from presence, the day you stop striving to fix everything and start trusting that I'm holding everything, even the things you can't see, especially the ones you can't. You're not walking toward peace. You're walking in it now. You're not hoping for freedom. It's already begun to unfurl within you. You don't need to go back and redo the past. You only need to be fully here because I'm here and I am enough. What I'm building in you cannot be rushed because it is meant to last. I am not interested in quick fixes or surface-level breakthroughs. I am after your depth, your truth, your wholeness. I am after the version of you that is fully living, just functioning, not just surviving, but thriving with unshakable peace and purpose. You were not created for cycles of burnout, emotional exhaustion, or spiritual numbness. You were made to live freely, to carry light, to breathe in grace without guilt or fear. And though the healing feels hidden now, it is real. Though the change feels subtle, it is unstoppable because I am the one working inside you. And what I begin, I finish. So let go of the urgency to prove something. You don't have to convince anyone of your worth. You don't need to defend your growth. Your process is sacred. Your pain has been seen. And I am the only one who truly knows what it cost you to still be here, still hoping, still believing. Others may not see it. They may misunderstand your silence, your distance, your tears, but I don't. I understand the language of your soul. I know the prayer beneath the words. I know the ache beneath the smile. And I call all of it holy. Not because it's polished, but because it's real. You can bring all of it to me. Your anger, your doubt, your grief, your fear. I'm not offended by your emotions. I'm not intimidated by your questions. You don't need to sanitize your sorrow to enter my presence. You don't have to hide your humanness to be embraced by my holiness. I meet you in the middle of the mess. I touch what others avoid. I heal what you were taught to ignore. Because I am not after performance. I am after presence. I don't just want your best. I want all of you. The tired you, the confused you, the ashamed you, the hurting you. Every part, every corner, every silent scream, I want it all. Because I want you. This is the beauty of our journey. It doesn't require perfection, just permission. Permission for me to enter the locked places. Permission to tear down what no longer protects, but imprisons. Permission to rebuild, not based on fear, but on truth. And this rebuilding doesn't always feel glorious. Sometimes it feels like chaos, like undoing, like crumbling. But what you call breaking, I call making. What you see is collapse. I see is reformation. You are not being destroyed. You are being made new. I am rebuilding your emotional core. I am detoxing your soul from lies it agreed with for too long. Lies that said you were too much, too broken, too late. Lies that said you had to earn love or apologize for your existence. I am uprooting those lies. Even now and in their place, I'm planting truth. Truth that you are seen, chosen, and deeply loved. Not for what you do, but for who you are. Truth that nothing can separate you from my love. Not your past, not your weakness, not your fears, not your failures. Truth that you are not alone in the valley. That even in the silence, I am present. Even in the confusion, I am guiding. Even in the waiting, I am working. You are not abandoned. You are being carried. You are not forgotten. You are being written into a story greater than you imagined. A story that ends in victory, not in defeat. A story that includes beauty, not in spite of the pain, but because of it. And as you begin to believe that, your vision will clear, not all at once, but moment by moment. You'll stop measuring your worth by what others think. You'll stop negotiating your peace to keep the illusion of control. You'll stop begging for breadcrumbs of love when I've prepared a feast of belonging. Your inner world will become quiet again. Not empty, but full of my presence, full of clarity, full of strength, full of stillness that no chaos can shake. Because you'll know who you are. And, more importantly, you'll know whose you are. And this knowing, this anchored identity will change how you move through the world. You will stop chasing what I never assigned to you. You will stop forcing doors that I've already shut. You will stop fearing rejection. Because you'll realize rejection is not always low sets, often protection. You'll understand that closed doors aren't always setbacks. They're divine redirects. And you'll start to trust my no as much as you trust my yes. Because you'll see that everything I allow has love behind it. Even the things you didn't choose. I am not only the God who answers prayers. I am the God who protects you from what you thought you needed. I am the God who sees tomorrow clearly, who weaves your steps with wisdom, who walks beside you when no one else stays. I don't just provide, I prepare. I don't just restore, I redeem. I don't just heal, I make whole. And my work in you is not dependent on how well you perform. It's built on how deeply you remain. Stay with me. That's all I ask. Stay in my presence. Stay in this process. Stay open even when it hurts. Stay soft even when you want to shut down. Stay trusting even when you can't. Trace me because I'm here and I'm not leaving. You've been taught to run when things get hard, to numb the pain, to silence your emotions, to distract yourself with noise or achievement or people who don't even see the real you. But I'm calling you to stay present in the discomfort long enough for it to heal, to stay aware of what your soul is really trying to say, not to bury the sadness, but to sit with it until it teaches you something. Not to bypass the anger, but to bring it to me where it can be transformed into clarity, into courage, into compassion. You are not weak for feeling deeply. You are not unstable for being sensitive. Your heart was not made to be hardened by survival. Was made to carry my presence with tenderness and strength. And that strength doesn't look like shutting down. It looks like staying open even when it hurts. Staying honest even when it's messy. Staying faithful even when there's no confirmation yet. Because this is what builds the kind of character that endures. Not outward results, not applause, not validation, but consistency in the unseen. Obedience in the quiet. Integrity when no one is watching. You're learning now that real growth doesn't always show up in visible changes. It starts inside, in your thoughts, in your motives, in the way you respond when everything in you wants to quit. It's in the way you speak to yourself when the old voices come back. It's in the decisions you make when no one's there to reward or correct you. It's in the discipline to choose peace when chaos is more familiar. That's what I'm cultivating in you. A steady soul. A soul that doesn't flinch at shadows anymore. A soul that knows how to anchor to me when the world starts shaking. Because it will shake, but you won't. And when that shaking comes, you'll remember who walked with you through the fires of your past. You'll remember that what once broke you didn't destroy you. That what once crushed your spirit didn't end your story. You'll remember how I rescued you. Not by removing every storm, but by making you storm-proof. Not by giving you answers, but by giving you myself. And you'll stop measuring peace by the absence of conflict. You'll begin to understand that real peace is found in -7 in the chaos. Especially in the chaos. You'll stop saying I'll feel safe when everything is fixed and start declaring I am safe now. Because I am held, and that kind of safety, that soul-level assurance is what changes everything. It frees you to love without fear of loss, to give without fear of depletion, to show up without the mask, without the performance, without the need to be perfect, because you'll finally know that you are loved already. And when you're secure in that love, you stop striving. You stop pretending. You stop shrinking to fit places I never designed for you. You begin to expand. You begin to carry light. Not because you're trying to be impressive, but because you're no longer dimming your flame. You begin to speak with boldness, not to control others, but to honor truth. You begin to walk with purpose, not to prove anything, but because you know you were made for more than wandering in circles of self-doubt, and people will notice. Not because you'll be loud or flashy or proud, but because peace leaves a trail. Because healed people shift atmospheres. Because your presence will begin to feel like rest, like clarity, like hope. And some won't understand it. Some may resist the change. Some may try to pull you back into their confusion, their patterns, their cycles. But you don't owe them your peace. You can love them without losing yourself. You can pray for them without carrying their pain as your own. You can stay open without becoming vulnerable to toxicity again. This is part of your healing. 2 boundaries that protect what I'm building in you. Discernment that helps you steward your energy, your focus, your joy. You don't have to be everything for everyone. You just have to be fully aligned with me. I'll do the rest. So, start seeing your life from a higher view. Stop obsessing over what didn't work, who walked away, or why it happened that way. You're not stuck in the past. You're not defined by that disappointment. That door closed because I have better, not just different. Better. You were not rejected, you were redirected. And though it hurt, though it confused you, though it delayed your plans, it did not delay your purpose. I am still on schedule. I have not forgotten what I spoke over your life. I have not revoked my promise. What I said still stands. And if you'll stop rehearsing the pain, you'll start receiving the preparation. Because this moment you're in right now is not punishment. It's positioning. Positioning you for clarity, for influence, for intimacy with me that goes beyond surface-level faith. I'm not interested in shallow relationships. I want your depth. I want to show you mysteries that only trust can unlock. I want to walk with you in the cool of the day, not just when you're desperate or broken. I want to laugh with you, create with you, dream with you. You think I'm only present in the crisis, but I delight in your ordinary moments, too. In the coffee you drink, in the walk you take, in the way you notice beauty around you. I am not a God who's distant until needed. I'm a God who dwells, a God who stays, a God who whispers in the quiet and dances over you with joy. You don't have to earn that presence. You just have to become aware of it again. Because I've never left. You've spent too long trying to interpret my silence as absence. But silence does not mean I've abandoned you. My silence often speaks louder than words. It is in the quiet that I prepare the deepest revelations. It's when the noise fades that your soul becomes most sensitive to my presence. I have been speaking all along through the stillness, through the waiting, through the longing that makes you ache. You've mistaken the pause for rejection, but it's been protection. You wanted the answer now. I was building your endurance. You wanted the breakthrough then. I was strengthening your foundation because I don't want to just give you what you asked for. I want to prepare you to carry it well. And some of the things you've prayed for would have crushed you if I gave them to you too soon. So I waited and I watched. And I walked with you in the hidden places because character is forged in secret. Identity is formed in the unseen. And what I'm doing in you now is not just for this moment. It's for everything that's coming next. You don't realize the weight of the calling on your life. That's why I've been so intentional about this process. I'm not just removing what's broken. I'm refining what's eternal. I'm chiseling away every false identity, every insecure attachment, every counterfeit comfort you once clung to for safety. Not because I want you to suffer, but because I want you to soar. And you can't fly while carrying things I never gave you to hold. So, I've been calling you to release, to let go of what seemed good but was never God, to surrender what's familiar but no longer fruitful, to trust me enough to trade comfort for calling, ease for excellence, logic for faith. Because I know what's ahead. I see the doors you're about to walk through. I see the impact your life will make. And I refuse to let you step into that unprepared. I love you too much to let you settle for shallow when I've designed you for depth. And yes, the fire has been intense. The pressure has felt unbearable at times. But that's what refinement requires. You've been in the forge, not the furnace of punishment. You've been in the place where gold is purified, not where souls are discarded. I've been burning away everything that cannot go with you into the next season. Every lie, every fear, every unhealed wound, pretending to be strength. I've been exposing not to shame you, but to heal you. I've been revealing not to embarrass you, but to realign you. Because your freedom matters more to me than your comfort. Your wholeness matters more than your image. I'm not after perfection. I'm after surrender. And when you finally let go of what you thought you had to protect, you'll discover a kind of strength that's rooted in me, not in performance. So, stop fighting the process. Stop resisting the very transformation you asked me for. You said, God, use me. This is me preparing you for that. You said, God, I want to walk in purpose. This is the pathway to that. You can't have resurrection without crucifixion. You can't have new life without first dying to the old. And I know it's uncomfortable. I know it feels like you're losing yourself. But you're not. You're losing what was never you to begin with. You're shedding the masks, the coping mechanisms, the false strength that kept you surviving but never thriving. And in their place, I'm giving you clarity, confidence, conviction, authority that doesn't waver when tested, peace that doesn't shatter when challenged, identity that doesn't shift with opinions or seasons. You are not who you were, and you're not yet who you're becoming. You're in the in-between, the sacred space where heaven breathes on the dust and forms something new. This is where I speak life over what looks lifeless. This is where I call dry bones to rise. This is where I take your broken pieces and turn them into weapons of beauty, healing, and hope. So don't despise this process. Don't rush this becoming. Every moment matters. Every tear has been collected. Every silent prayer has been heard. Every step you've taken in faith has been recorded. I'm the God who sees. I'm the God who remembers. And I'm the God who finishes what he starts. So lift your head, shake off the dust. You are not defeated. You are being developed. You are not behind. You are being aligned. And what feels like delay is actually divine synchronization. I'm weaving together things you can't even imagine right now. Connections, opportunities, conversations, confirmations. You've been faithful in the small. I'm about to entrust you with more. Not because you earned it, but because you endured. Not because you performed perfectly, but because you stayed, surrendered. And that surrender is the key. It always has been. Not control, not perfection, not religious striving. Just surrender. Just me and you walking together in trust. Even when you don't see the full path ahead, there are moments when you've questioned not just the timing, but the very plan itself. You've wondered if maybe you misunderstood me. If maybe you dreamed too big or believed too much. You've looked at the delay and assumed denial. You've looked at closed doors and assumed rejection. But I need you to understand something. With every fiber of your being, I do not tease. I do not play games with your heart. I do not stir up dreams only to leave them suspended in disappointment. What I've spoken over your life was not imagination. It was revelation. It was divine design. And even when you can't trace the outcome, you can still trust the origin because it came from me. And my words do not return void. They accomplish what I sent them for. They carry weight. They carry timing. And they carry the power to shift reality. According to my will, not your calendar. You're not running late. You're not out of step. You're not being punished or passed over. You are in the exact place where transformation unfolds. The place where faith is forged, where endurance is tested, where dependency deepens. And while you may not like this part of the process, it is absolutely essential because it reveals what you really believe. It shows what you're anchored in when results are invisible. Do you believe I'm good only when things go your way, or do you trust me even when nothing makes sense? I'm not looking for performance. I'm looking for trust that breathes through uncertainty. Faith that stays when feelings flee. Confidence that clings to my character, not just my promises. You've asked for breakthrough, but what you really needed first was anchoring. I will not build skyscrapers on unstable foundations. I will not launch assignments without first securing the soul that will carry them. And I know what you're carrying is heavy. I know the mantle on your life comes with battles most people never see, but I've seen them. Every unseen war, every hidden tear, every day you chose to keep showing up when no one understood the cost. I saw when you praised through the pain, when you forgave in silence, when you gave without being thanked. You thought it went unnoticed, but I was watching, and I'm a God who rewards in public what was stewarded in private. So hear me. What's coming is not compensation for suffering. It's confirmation of faithfulness. You're not being paid back. You're being positioned. This is not pity. It's purpose. I'm not elevating you to prove anything to others. I'm doing it to fulfill what I promised to you. Because you stayed with me when it was lonely. Because you listened when it was quiet. Because you trusted me when the path was dark. And now the light is breaking through. Not because the season changed, but because you did. You're no longer driven by fear. You're no longer attached to outcomes. You're no longer begging for what's already been given. You're starting to walk as one who knows they're loved, not as one who's trying to earn it. That shift is everything. That's where the power is. That's where the peace flows. Because the enemy cannot manipulate someone who knows they're already chosen. He cannot intimidate someone who's no longer desperate for approval. He cannot discourage someone who's grounded in eternal truth. You've been stripped of so many false identities for this very reason. So you would walk in authority. So you would speak with clarity. So you would move with confidence that doesn't fluctuate with people's opinions or life's unpredictability. You're becoming unshakable, not because of what you've built, but because of who's built you. And you've learned that some of the greatest gifts come wrapped in pain, that some of the most powerful lessons are birthed in loss. You've learned to discern the difference between my pruning and the enemy's attack. You've learned to rest even when everything around you screams for panic. You've learned to say, even if not, you are still good. That kind of surrender terrifies the enemy because now he knows. He can't steal your joy by taking your plans. He can't rob your peace by delaying your dreams because your joy and peace are no longer anchored in what's happening. They're anchored in who is with you. I've been drawing you closer through all of it, not so you would understand more, but so you would know me more. You've been praying for direction, and I've been giving you deeper revelation of my heart. Because, more than giving you answers, I've been inviting you into intimacy. More than opening doors, I've been opening your eyes to see my hand, even in the closed ones. And now you're starting to see. Now you're starting to feel the shift, not just around you, but inside you. The fear is melting. The pressure is lifting. The urgency to prove yourself is disappearing. And in its place, you're standing taller, breathing deeper, walking freer. Not because your circumstances changed, but because you did. This is the part of the story where you begin to reclaim territory you didn't even know you lost. Where you walk into rooms with confidence not in your ability, but in my assignment. Where you speak with authority because you're echoing what heaven already declared. Where you no longer shrink to fit spaces I never designed for you. You've outgrown the old version of you. You've outlasted the season that tried to suffocate your voice. And now your steps are aligning with a rhythm not dictated by fear, but by faith. You move, not because of pressure, but because of purpose. You choose not because of obligation, but because of obedience. And I'm not just sending you. I'm going with you. I'm not launching you alone. I'm surrounding you with favor, with protection, with divine appointments and supernatural provision. I'm placing people in your path who will confirm what I've spoken, not compete with it. I'm opening doors that no man can shut, not because you pushed, but because you waited, because you trusted, because you refused to settle for less than what I spoke. You were never forgotten. You were being formed. And now it's time to walk forward, not with hesitation, but with holy confidence. You've been walking through a landscape that felt barren for so long, it almost convinced you that your life would remain in this wilderness. Every direction seemed dry. Every attempt felt futile. You watered dreams that didn't bloom, prayed over doors that never opened, and carried promises that felt increasingly heavy the longer they went unfulfilled. And yet here you are, not broken but refined, not lost but awakened, not abandoned but sustained. What you thought was a season of stagnation was actually sacred preparation. The wilderness didn't destroy you. It detoxed you. It stripped away everything false, everything fleeting, everything dependent on applause or visible reward. It was never a punishment. It was a purification because you asked me to use you. You asked me to lead you. You asked me to show you who you really are in me. And I answered, just not in the way you expected. I didn't give you the spotlight. I gave you stillness. I didn't give you the platform. I gave you process. I didn't give you a shortcut. I gave you strength. And now, without even noticing, you've grown into someone who can carry what's coming next. You don't chase applause anymore. You're not driven by the need to be seen. Your hunger has changed. Your heart has changed. You're not building towers to be admired. You're building altars to meet with me. Your prayers have shifted from God, elevate me, to God, purify me. And that is why you're about to walk into fulfillment. Because your motives now match my mission. Because your spirit is aligned with my spirit. Because you finally understand that fruit doesn't come from striving. It comes from abiding. The world may look at you and see delay, but heaven sees development. The world may look at your lack of credentials, followers, or influence and overlook you, but I never did. I saw the oil I placed on your life. I saw the fire you didn't let die. I saw the sacrifices you made in secret. I saw the ways you said yes when no would have been easier, and none of it was in vain. I don't waste obedience. I don't overlook humility. I don't forget faithfulness. You've poured when you had nothing left. You've served when you needed healing yourself. You've encouraged others while your own heart was bleeding. And for every seed you sweat in tears, I've prepared a harvest, soaked in my favor. The tide is turning. You may not feel it yet, but everything beneath the surface has shifted. The roots have grown deep. The foundations have been reinforced. The atmosphere is aligning. And suddenly, what once seemed impossible will unfold with divine ease, not because it got easier, but because you got stronger. You're no longer intimidated by the weight. You're no longer moved by what doesn't happen instantly, because now you know the difference between a delay and a denial. Now you trust the God of timing as much as you trust the God of miracles. Now, You've seen that I am just as present in the stillness as I am in the suddenly. And you've stopped begging me for answers. Now you're seeking my presence. You're not asking me to rush things. You're asking me to prepare you. You've realized that the promise without preparation is dangerous. That the blessing without the character to carry it can crush you. And so you let me build you slowly. You let me prune you deeply. You let me shape you beyond public view. And now the unveiling will not feel like exposure. It will feel like confirmation, not for the world, but for you. Because deep down you always knew there was more. You always sensed you were born for something greater than just surviving. And that fire, that relentless pull toward destiny, that wasn't ego. That was me. You've been afraid at times to believe again. Afraid that hoping would only lead to disappointment. But listen closely. I am not asking you to manufacture false hope. I'm inviting you to trust me again. Not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. I didn't bring you this far to leave you with fragments. I'm not the God of halfway miracles. What I started, I will finish. What I promised, I will fulfill. But I'm not just restoring what was lost. I'm exceeding it. I'm multiplying it. I'm doing it in such a way that no one, not even you, will be able to take credit for it, because I'm not just interested in blessing you. I'm interested in revealing myself through you. And that's why this season has felt so intense. Because what's on your life is not ordinary. The assignment is weighty. The anointing is real. The favor is intentional. And the resistance has been loud, because the calling is loud. But no resistance can stop what I have set in motion. No attack can delay what I have decreed. No human can revoke what I've already released. You may feel like you're behind, like you've missed windows of opportunity. But in my kingdom, restoration is always possible. Acceleration is always available. Redemption is always within reach. And I am a God who makes all things new. Not just better, but new. Not just repaired, but reborn. So don't settle into survival mode when I've called you to revival. Don't shrink your prayers to match your disappointments. Lift your eyes again. Dream with me again. Speak what I've spoken over you, even if it hasn't happened yet. Declare it anyway. Move like it's already done. Because in my eyes it is. I don't operate on your clock. I operate from eternity. And I already see you walking in what you're still waiting for. I see the joy that's coming. I see the restoration ahead. I see the healing breaking forth like dawn. I see the people you're called to reach. I see the doors you haven't even imagined yet. And I'm not withholding. I'm preparing. I'm not delaying. I'm aligning. You've wondered if you missed it. If perhaps your window closed. If your mistakes disqualified you. If your silence meant I had moved on to someone else. But I want you to hear me clearly. What I've placed on your life is irrevocable. My calling is not fragile. My love does not expire. I'm not a man who changes his mind. You could never wander too far to escape my reach. You could never fall too low to lose my mercy. I saw every misstep and still chose you. I heard every doubt and still called you mine. I felt every moment you wanted to give up and still whispered strength into your spirit. I've been with you in every valley, in every silence, in every cry no one else heard. And now I am turning the Pagaya note by erasing your past, but by redeeming it. The story I'm writing through your life won't be a perfect tale of effortless success. It will be a raw, holy testimony of grace upon grace. Others will see your scars and ask how you survived, and you'll point to me. They'll see the joy in your eyes and wonder where it came from. And you'll speak of nights when tears were your only companion, when faith was your only weapon. You'll carry revival, not because you rehearsed it, but because you lived through the fire. And you'll walk in authority, not because of your title, but because of your testimony. You'll shine, not because of your strength, but because of how you clung to me when everything else crumbled. This is the moment where everything begins to shift, not through dramatic noise, but through sacred knowing. You don't have to strive anymore. You don't have to prove anything. You are already chosen, already equipped, already covered. All that's left is your agreement. Will you trust me even when the evidence hasn't caught up yet? Will you believe what I've whispered even when the world offers no confirmation? Will you walk with courage? Not because you see the whole path, but because you trust the one who holds it. You are entering the kind of breakthrough that is not loud but unshakable. A breakthrough that anchors your identity, your faith, your sense of worth. You won't be moved by shifting opinions or changing circumstances anymore. You won't shrink yourself to fit rooms I never called you to enter. You won't waste energy explaining your calling to those who were never meant to carry it with you. This next chapter is about me and you. Your obedience, my overflow, your surrender, my supernatural strategy, and you will not walk alone. I am surrounding you with people who don't compete with your purpose but complement it, with voices that sharpen you, not silence you, with alignment that multiplies what's in you. You've longed for stability, for rest that isn't temporary, for peace that isn't circumstantial, and I'm giving it to you not as the world gives, but as heaven gives. It won't always make sense, but it will always be secure. You'll sleep differently. You'll wake up lighter. You'll move through your day with a grace that confuses the enemy because nothing external will be able to disrupt the internal stillness I'm placing in you. This is not a momentary high. It's a divine recalibration, a holy rewiring of how you see, think, speak, and live. Because you are not who you used to be. You've been transformed in places no one saw. You've surrendered in silence. You've matured in hiddenness. And the oil that flows from your life now didn't come from a quick blessing. It came from the crushing, from the pressing, from the moments where faith wasn't a feeling, but a decision. And now I am bringing you into spaces that honor your process, not just your performance. I am placing you where your authenticity will matter more than your appearance, where your purity will open doors your resume never could, where your humility will make room for my glory to be revealed. And this is just the beginning. You thought you were nearing the end, but I've barely begun to unveil what I've prepared for you. You've been operating on fragments of what's possible, glimpses of the greater, whispers of the destiny that awaits. But now comes the fullness, the overflow, the manifestation. You'll step into rooms and wonder why you were chosen. And I'll remind you because I placed my hand on you long before anyone else saw your worth. You'll hear doors open you didn't knock on. See prayers answered you forgot you prayed. Experience freedom in areas you once called permanent pain. Because I'm not just restoring what the enemy stole. I'm revealing who you truly are. No more false labels. No more limitations. No more agreement with fear. You are not a victim of your past. You are a vessel of my power. You are not a mistake I made you with intentionality. You are not forgotten. You are engraved on the palm of my hand. Every time you thought I was silent, I was setting the stage. Every delay was divine. Every detour was direction. And now the fog is lifting. The voice of confusion is breaking. The weight of shame is dissolving. And what remains is unshakable identity, unstoppable purpose, undeniable favor. You're about to see what happens when heaven remembers your name in public after you remain faithful in private. What happens when the oil meets the fire? What happens when obedience meets timing? What happens when my word is no longer just read, but lived, breathed, and manifested through you? No more striving, no more shrinking, no more second-guessing. You are rising not by ambition, but by appointment. Not by hype, but by holiness. Not by chance, but by covenant. And nothing, absolutely nothing, will stop what I'm releasing now. You are here because something sacred led you. The ache in your chest, the longing you couldn't quite name, the stillness that suddenly felt louder than all the noise in your life. These weren't coincidences. I placed them there, each one a quiet echo of my voice, calling you toward this very moment. You didn't click by accident. You didn't stumble into this message. Out of curiosity, you are standing at the edge of revelation because I brought you here. And now that you are here, you will see what I've been preparing behind the veil. What I've hidden, not to punish you, but to protect you until you are ready. And now you are ready. That whisper in your soul that says something is shifting, that's me. That feeling that something more is coming, that you are about to step into a chapter unlike anything you've known, that is me, too. You've been praying, hoping, holding on by threads of faith. And though you thought I was silent, I was aligning everything. And now I am speaking directly to you. I know what weighs your heart down. I know the late nights you've battled thoughts that left you empty. I've seen the moments where you smiled for others, while your soul quietly screamed for rest. I've watched as you tried to be strong when all you wanted was to fall apart. You've walked through days where the heaviness didn't lift, where no words could soothe the pain you didn't even know how to name. And I was there, not distant, not indifferent. I was closer than your breath, guarding your steps when you didn't even know you needed saving. I've seen the moments you gave when you had nothing left to give. I saw how you loved others while wondering if anyone really saw you. I watched as you tried to keep moving forward, even when everything inside you begged to stop. And through all of it, I never left you. I never changed my mind about you. And I never stopped preparing the moment where your heart would finally hear this truth. I am not finished with you. Not even close. You've mistaken silence for absence. But my silence was never distance. It was strategy. It was the gentle pause before the revelation, the stillness before the breakthrough. I was not ignoring you. I was cultivating something deeper. And now I am revealing what was concealed. Because it's time. It's time for you to walk into the fullness of what I placed inside you. The world may have overlooked you, misjudged you, or tried to label you. But I never did. I called you mine before you had a name. I assigned you purpose before you saw the light of day. And no pain, no loss, no failure, no betrayal has canceled that. You still carry my breath in your lungs, my fingerprints on your destiny, and my promise over your life. And that promise is not void. It is alive, and now it's awakening. I need you to understand this. The storms you walked through did not destroy you. They refined you. What was meant to break you is now the very thing I will use to elevate you. The tears you cried in silence were not wasted. They were watering seeds you didn't even know had been planted. And now the time of harvest is near. You are stepping into a season where what you carried in faith will become visible. What you held on to in the dark will begin to shine. You're not being left behind. You're being launched. And this moment right here is the shift. The enemy tried to convince you that you missed your chance, that too much time had passed, that your mistakes disqualified you. But I am the God of redemption. I specialize in restoring what was lost, in breathing new life into places that were declared dead. Nothing is beyond me, and certainly not you. There were days you questioned whether your prayers even reached me. Days you begged for a sign, even a small one, that I was still with you. This is that sign. This is that confirmation. I heard every word. I collected every tear. I recorded every sigh of your heart, and I am responding not with a whisper, but with clarity. You were never forsaken. You were never forgotten. You were never alone. Even when the silence screamed louder than faith, I was there. And now I am breaking that silence, and not to scold you, but to lift you, to remind you who you are, to tell you that your story does not end in defeat. What you thought was over is only the beginning. What you believed was broken beyond repair is where I will build something unshakable. Not just for you, but through you. I know the disappointments that made you close parts of your heart. I know the betrayals that made you cautious to hope again. I know the weariness that makes it hard to believe that things could really change. But I am not like those who left you. I am not the pain that tried to define you. I am the one who heals, who restores, who holds every shattered piece of your soul and reshapes it with purpose. You do not have to protect yourself from me. You can let me in. You can trust me with the parts of you you've tried to hide, even from yourself, because I already see them. And I'm not ashamed of you. I'm not disappointed in you. I'm calling you forward, not backward. I'm inviting you into wholeness, not just survival. And as you take that first breath of this new moment, I want you to know this is not hype. This is holy. This is not a coincidence. This is a calling. I am speaking to you because I have chosen you for something greater than what you've seen. The gifts, the dreams, the passions that keep stirring in you, they are not distractions. They are directions. They are the echoes of your true identity. And I am awakening them now, not so you can impress the world, but so you can impact it. Not so you can be praised, but so you can carry my glory. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being willing. And you are. That's why you're still here. That's why this message found you. Because I'm about to show you just how deeply I've been working in the silence. Just how far I've gone to bring you to this moment, and it's only just beginning. You don't realize how much you've survived. You look at your life, and sometimes all you see are the cracks, the broken timelines, the unanswered prayers, the mistakes that still haunt you. But I see the strength it took to keep going. I see the faith that flickered but never fully went out. I see how even when your hands trembled, you still tried to build. Even when your voice shook, you still prayed. Even when your hope was threadbare, you still whispered, God, please. And I was there for all of it, not watching from afar, but right beside you, upholding you when your strength was gone, pouring my endurance into your weary soul. Every moment you endured without applause. Every silent battle you fought when no one noticed. I noticed. I counted every one of them. And I called them holy. Because your fight didn't go unseen. Your pain didn't go unnoticed. And your journey didn't go to waste. There is a power in you now that cannot be taken away. Not because you were never hurt, but because you healed through it. Not because you had all the answers, but because you trusted me in the silence. The kind of authority you carry doesn't come from popularity. It comes from perseverance. It comes from nights you didn't think you'd make it through, but somehow you did. It comes from the ashes that tried to bury you, but instead became the soil for something new. That's the kind of authority that changes atmospheres, that breaks generational patterns, that carries light into the darkest places. That's what I've placed in you. And that's what's about to awaken in full. You've asked me why certain things had to happen, why certain people walked away, why the path wasn't smoother, but what you saw as rejection was often my redirection. What you called loss was sometimes my protection. And what you labeled failure was simply preparation for a different kind of breakthrough. I didn't take from you to punish you. I removed what would have blocked you. I didn't allow closed doors because I enjoy your pain. I allowed them because you deserved something far greater than what you were settling for. I never forgot what you asked for, even if I didn't give it to you when or how you expected. I was working in dimensions you couldn't yet perceive. And now the time has come where what you couldn't see will become clear. What didn't make sense will start to align. And the places where you only saw delay will overflow with divine timing. Do not think it's too late. Do not think too much time has passed or that you've outgrown your window of purpose. I am the author of time. I do not rush and I do not run out of options. I restore years, not just moments. I redeem seasons, not just situations. And what felt like wasted time in your eyes is about to become the foundation of testimony in mine. Because I don't just work with your victories. I work with your wounds. I work with your confusion. I work with your silence. And I turn it into beauty that no one can take credit for but me. That's why this next chapter will be so impactful. Not because of what you bring, but because of what you surrendered. Not because of your brilliance, but because of your brokenness that you dared to lay in my hands. You've held shame like armor, convinced it was protection from more pain. You've carried guilt like a second skin, thinking it made you humble. But I'm stripping that from you now, not to expose you, but to free you. I never asked you to wear shame. I never asked you to live in regret. I asked you to come to me just as you are, unpolished, uncertain, unfinished. And you did. That's why I'm healing you, not in the shallow places, but in the deepest wounds. The ones no one sees. The ones you stopped talking about. The ones you buried so deep. You forgot they still bled. But I didn't forget. I didn't ignore them. I've been waiting for this moment to whisper healing where only pain echoed, to speak truth where lies had festered, to remind you are not your worst moment. You are not your lowest day. You are mine. You are not created to live small. You are not called to survive, barely getting by. I created you for impact, for movement, for light, for legacy. And though life tried to shrink you, to silence you, to convince you that you were too much or not enough, I never agreed with that. I've always known who you are. And now I'm about to show you through opportunities you never imagined, through relationships that restore rather than drain, through moments that seem ordinary but become divine encounters. Because once you start walking in alignment with my voice, everything changes. You no longer beg for doors to open. They swing wide in front of you. You no longer cling to people who don't value you. You are surrounded by those who see you through my eyes. You no longer chase what was never meant for you. You attract what is divinely designed for you. This is not just encouragement, it's activation. This is the turning point where you stop wondering if you're chosen and start walking like you are, where you stop second-guessing and start declaring, where you stop shrinking to fit others' comfort and start standing in the fullness of who I made you to be. You don't have to earn this moment. You don't have to compete for it. It's yours. I gave it to you, and what I give no one can take. So breathe deep, child. Lift your head. Let go of the fears that haunted you and the doubts that whispered not you. Because, yes, you always you. I called you before the chaos. I named you before the noise. And I am the one who finishes what I start. There were days you thought you had lost yourself. Moments when you couldn't recognize the person staring back at you in the mirror. You wore a smile, but it felt hollow. You carried responsibilities, but your spirit felt numb. And in the silence, you wondered if I had grown distant, if maybe I had turned my face from you. But I never did. Even in your disorientation, I was there. Even when your heart was fractured, I was cradling the pieces. You assumed I only came close when you were strong, when your faith was flawless, when your words were confident. But I was never moved by your perfection. I've always been drawn to your honesty. Your vulnerability was never weakness. To mate was invitation. An invitation to hold you in ways you didn't even know you needed. An invitation to be the father you always longed for, but never fully trusted to come through. And I did. I showed up. Quietly, patiently, lovingly. I didn't demand performance. I welcomed presence. Even when your soul could barely whisper my name, I heard it as a symphony. You don't need to prove your worth to me. You don't need to present yourself as someone stronger than you feel. I already know the weight you carry. I know the pain that lives beneath your surface. I know the fear you pretend isn't there, the anxiety you keep hidden, the tears that never fall in front of others. I know every corner of you, and I have never once flinched. You are not too much for me. You never have been. Your complexity, your contradictions, your highs and lows, they do not scare me. They do not make me second-guess choosing you. On the contrary, they make you more precious to me because I see the beauty underneath the mess. I see the resilience under the hesitation. I see the fire that still burns beneath the ashes, and I've come to fan it into flame again. There are things in you that have been asleep for too long, dreams you buried because life told you they were unrealistic, callings you silenced because fear spoke louder than hope, desires you've labeled selfish because you didn't think they could be holy. But I placed those things in you. I planted them before you were even born. I designed you with divine intricacy, with purpose etched into every fiber of your being. And I didn't do all of that just for you to survive. I made you to shine, to carry my light in ways no one else can, to be a reflection of me no in perfection, but in transformation, not in performance, but in presence. Your very existence is a testimony of my intentionality. Nothing about you is random. Nothing about your story is wasted. Even the detours, even the dead ends, they're being woven into something sacred. You may not feel ready, but readiness was never the requirement. Willingness is. And I see your heart. It's trembling, but it's open. That's all I need. I can work with that. I can build from that. I've always chosen the ones the world overlooks. I've always used the ones who didn't feel qualified. Because my strength is made perfect in weakness. Because I get glory from using broken vessels and turning them into channels of healing. You are not disqualified. You are not behind. You are exactly where I knew you'd be when I wrote this part of your story. Nothing has surprised me. Not your doubts, not your delays, not your pain. I accounted for all of it, and I still said yes to you. So stop disqualifying yourself based on seasons you didn't choose. Stop shrinking your voice because others couldn't understand your journey. Stop dimming your light just to make others comfortable in their shadows. You are not here to blend in. You are here to blaze a trail. And I know it's been hard. I know the cost has felt unbearable at times. But I promise you, nothing you've sacrificed from me will go unrewarded. Nothing you've endured in secret will be ignored. I'm the God who sees in secret. And what I see in secret, I reward in the open. The honor I'm placing on your life will not come through striving. It will come through surrender. Through your yes, even when it's shaky. Through your obedience, even when you don't fully understand. Through your faith, even when your heart still breaks. You've been asking for clarity, but I'm offering you confidence. Not in your plans, but in my presence. Because clarity might make you comfortable, but confidence in me will make you courageous. And I'm calling you to walk forward now. Not when it all makes sense. Not when you feel in control, but now, while the path is still foggy, while the outcome is uncertain. That's faith. And that's where you'll find the unknown. In the uncomfortable, in the steps you take, even while your knees shake, you won't always feel brave. But bravery isn't a feeling. It's a decision. A decision to trust my voice over your fear. A decision to move with me even when you don't know where it leads. This is your moment. This is the hinge on which your story swings into a new chapter. Don't let fear write the next page. Don't let disappointment dictate your direction. Let me author this part. Let me guide your hand as you take the pin back from every voice that tried to convince you that you were finished. You are not finished. You are not forgotten. You are being formed, and what's forming in you now will carry weight you cannot yet imagine. It will speak to people you haven't even met. It will break chains in others because of what you've allowed me to break in you. And it will shine with a light that cannot be faked, cannot be imitated, and cannot be extinguished. You've been through enough storms to know that peace isn't found in perfect conditions. It's found in my presence. You've seen how quickly things can change, how suddenly comfort can become chaos, and how fragile the illusion of control really is. And yet here you are, still breathing, still believing, still showing up with a heart that has every reason to close but keeps choosing to stay open. That kind of courage moves me. That kind of faith, even in its flickering form, is precious to me because it's real. It's not polished or scripted, but it's honest. And I honor that honesty more than you realize. You've tried to carry things alone for too long. You've taken responsibility for burdens that were never yours to carry. And now I'm inviting you to put them down. Lay them at my feet. Not just the ones you think are spiritual enough to bring me, but all of them. Every weight, every worry, every wound you've been nursing in silence. I can take it. I want to take it. I didn't ask you to impress me. I asked you to trust me. You don't have to rehearse your pain before you present it. I already know. I've seen every tear before it formed. I felt every ache before you had words for it. And even in the moments when you didn't think I was listening, I was preparing something beautiful from the ashes. I am a God of restoration, not just survival. I don't just want to bring you out. I want to bring you back. Better, stronger, softer, wiser, with a heart that beats again. Not in spite of the pain, but because of what the pain awakened in you. Because you've been awakened, haven't you? To what matters, to what lasts, to the depth you didn't know you were capable of. That's what this season has done. It hasn't just stretched you, it's refined you. It's stripped away illusions and forced you to find me in ways you never needed to before. And I was there in the emptiness, in the quiet, in the confusion. I never left. I never looked away. I never stopped holding you. There are things I'm building in you that require this level of surrender. Not because I enjoy your discomfort, but because I'm forging something unshakable in you. I'm strengthening your foundation. I'm deepening your roots so that when the winds come again, and they will, you won't be uprooted. You'll stand not because everything is perfect, but because you know where your help comes from. You've stopped relying on temporary fixes. You've stopped looking for people to do what only I can. And that's a beautiful thing. Painful, but beautiful, because now your faith is becoming pure. It's not wrapped in conditions or expectations. It's anchored in who I am. And that kind of faith, it moves mountains. It shifts atmospheres. It brings the kingdom into places that have long been ruled by fear and darkness. That kind of faith is dangerous to the enemy. And that's why the battle has felt so personal. That's why the attacks have been so relentless. Because hell knows what happens when you fully realize who you are and who I am. In you, you were never meant to live in reaction to fear. You were meant to move in response to my voice. And I'm speaking now, not in the thunder or in the earthquake, but in the stillness, in the whisper that reaches past your noise and finds the part of you that's still listening. That's where I meet you. Not in the performance, but in the pause. Not in the spotlight, but in the secret place. And I'm calling you back there. Now, to the quiet, where striving stops and surrender begins. To the place where your identity isn't what you do, what you've accomplished, or how others see you, but who you are in me. You are my beloved, my chosen, my child. And I'm not disappointed in you. I'm not shaking my head at your process. I'm smiling because I see where this is going. I see the end from the beginning. And I'm not worried. I'm not in a hurry. I'm working all things to the ones you wish it never happened. You've asked for signs, but I'm giving you something better. Revelation. A knowing that doesn't come from what you see, but from who you know. A trust that survives the silence. A peace that defies the evidence. That's how you'll know I'm with you when everything says you should panic. But your spirit is calm. When logic tells you to run, but your soul feels anchored. That's not denial. That's divine presence. That's me in the storm walking on the water calling you to come. Not to prove something to me, but to prove something to you. That you can. Trust me. That I will not let you sink. That even when your faith falters, my hand will not. I'm closer than the wind, stronger than the waves, more constant than the tide, and I'm not just with you. I'm for you. I'm fighting battles you don't even know exist. I'm making ways where there seem to be none. I'm healing wounds that no one else can see. So brief, not because everything is solved, but because I'm in it. And where I am, there is peace. Not absence of chaos, but presence of calm. Not the removal of tension, but the infusion of truth. And the truth is you are not alone. You never were. You never will be. Not for a second. I know what's coming. And it's good. Not because life is predictable, but because I am faithful and I do not change. My promises are not on pause. My plans are not derailed. My heart for you has not shifted. I'm not just bringing you through. I'm bringing you into rest, into revelation, into renewal. And you're closer than you think. There's something holy about what you're walking through right now, even if it feels messy and uncertain, because the ground you stand on is no longer familiar, but it's sacred. It's not the place you expected, but it's the place where I'm meeting you, where I'm refining your desires, where I'm peeling away the layers that no longer serve your calling. You thought you were losing control, but really you're losing everything that was holding you back. I'm not punishing you. I'm pruning you. And pruning feels like loss, but it's actually preparation for fruit. You are being made ready. Ready for the doors I'm about to open. Ready for the relationships I'm about to restore. Ready for the opportunities I'm about to place in front of you. But more than anything, ready to carry my glory in a way you've never imagined. Not with fear, not with doubt, but with confidence rooted in my voice. You don't have to understand every detail to take the next step. You don't need to see the whole picture to walk by faith. Sometimes I withhold the full view, not to frustrate you, but to protect you. Because if you saw everything at once, you might try to take control again. And control is the enemy of trust. So instead, I ask you to walk with me only. Step at a time, one breath at a time. Because in the unknown, intimacy is born. When you don't have answers, you lean into presence. When the path is unclear, you cling to me. And that's exactly where I want you. Not because I need your dependency, but because you were made for communion. You were created to walk with me, not just to work for me. I'm not a distant deity watching from afar. I'm a father walking beside you, speaking to your heart, guiding your steps, and holding your hand through the dark. I know the things you haven't said out loud. I know the disappointments you've buried, the dreams you've quietly given up on, the fears that whisper when the world is quiet. And I don't reject you for them. I draw closer because I'm not afraid of your doubts. I'm not offended by your questions. I welcome them. I invite your honesty. I'd rather have your raw, unfiltered truth than a rehearsed prayer that hides your heart. Talk to me. Tell me where it hurts. Tell me what you're afraid of. Tell me what you're tired of carrying. I already know. But there's healing in your confession. There's power in your surrender. And when you bring it all to me, something sacred happens. You stop pretending, and you start receiving. You've been surviving when I've called you to thrive. You've been settling when I've designed you to soar. And the only thing standing between you and the fullness I've prepared is the weight you refuse to release. It's time. Time to let go of the guilt that no longer belongs to you. Time to stop rehearsing the narrative of failure. Time to silence the voice of shame that keeps repeating lies I never spoke. My child, I don't define you by your worst moments. I define you by my love. And my love doesn't fluctuate with your performance. It's not fragile. It's not conditional. It's not something you can earn or lose. It's the foundation of who you are. It's the air you breathe. It's the blood in your veins. And it's time you started living like you're loved. Because you are. I didn't call you because you were perfect. I called you because you were willing. Because deep inside, beneath the fear and the hesitation, I see a heart that wants to follow me. And that's enough. I'll handle the rest. I'll strengthen what's weak. I'll heal what's broken. I'll correct what's crooked. But I need your yes. Not just the loud, emotional yes in moments of inspiration, but the quiet, steady yes in the mundane. The yes that shows up even when it's hard. The yes that chooses obedience over comfort. The yes that trusts me even when the results don't come quickly. Because that kind of yes is what transforms you. That's the yes that builds legacy. That's the yes that shifts atmospheres. Not just in your life, but in the lives of everyone around you. You've been hidden for a reason. Not because you're forgotten, but because I've been forming you in secret, just like a seed in the soil. Your growth has been invisible, but not inactive. Every stretch, every pressure, every dark moment has been producing something in you that will bear fruit in its time. Don't curse the season of obscurity. It's where roots are formed. It's where identity is established. It's where I become more than a concept to you. I become your anchor. And when the time is right, I will reveal what I've been building, not to impress the world, but to glorify my name through your life. Because you are not ordinary. You are not forgotten. You are not a mistake. You are mine. And everything you've walked through is being redeemed. Not wasted, redeemed. So don't rush what I'm doing. Don't try to shortcut the process. Let me finish what I started. Let me have full access to your heart. Not just the parts you've cleaned up, but the messy parts, too. I want it all. Because I'm not just restoring your circumstances. I'm restoring you. The real you. The one the world tried to silence. The one trauma tried to bury. The one shame tried to disqualify. I'm calling that version of you to rise, to take up space, to dream again, to live. Unafraid. Because the future I've prepared doesn't require a perfect Uda, requires a surrendered you. And you're closer to that than you realize. There's a reason your heart has been stirred lately. Why? Certain things no longer satisfy you like they used to. Why you've grown restless in places that once felt comfortable. It's because I'm awakening your soul to more. What once sustained you was good for that season, but you've outgrown a tan that's not a failure. That's transformation. I'm expanding your vision. I'm stretching your capacity. You've prayed for me to enlarge your territory, but expansion always begins internally. Before I increase what's around you, I increase what's within you. And that process isn't always pleasant. It breaks your routine. It interrupts your comfort. It challenges your patterns. But it births something new, something bold, something anointed. You weren't made to stay small. You weren't created just to get by. I formed you to carry light in dark places. I anointed you to be a voice when others go silent. And I placed within you gifts that this world needs. Don't downplay what I've put in you just because others don't recognize it yet. They didn't call you. I did. They didn't equip you. I did. So stop waiting for their approval to do what I already appointed you for. You don't need a stage to be effective. You don't need a spotlight to have purpose. You don't need applause to have impact. You just need to be faithful where you are with what you have. And I'll do the rest. Sometimes you look around and it feels like everyone else is moving ahead faster, achieving more, being celebrated more loudly. And I know that comparison creeps in like a slow poison. But here, your pace is not their pace, and that's by design. Your race is not their race. I'm doing something in you that takes time to build because it's meant to last. I'm not interested in quick flashes of success that burn out overnight. I'm building legacy through you. And legacy takes depth. It takes refinement. It takes obedience when no one is watching. So while others may seem to be gaining more, remember this. What I'm forming in you has eternal weight. It will endure. It will bear fruit long after the noise fades. Your current situation is not the end of your story. It's just a chapter, and I'm still writing. Don't judge the outcome by a single page. Don't make permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. What you feel now will not last forever, but what I'm developing in you through it will. Perseverance, compassion, strength, clarity. These are not wasted struggles. They are sacred ingredients. I use pressure to refine, not to punish. I use storms to anchor, not to destroy. And every tear you've cried, every night you've wrestled, every prayer you whispered when you felt forgotten, it's all been seen, collected, treasured. Nothing has been lost. Let go of the illusion that you must have it all together to be used by me. Let go of the Belief that you're disqualified because of your past. Let go of the lie that says you're too late, too old, too damaged, too far behind. My timeline is not like the world's. I make all things new in my time. And when I restore, I don't just bring you back to where you were. I redeem it all for something greater. You think you've wasted years, but I can give you back more in one moment of obedience than you lost in a decade of wandering. You think your mistakes define you, but I've already written grace over every chapter. You think your weakness disqualifies you, but your weakness is the place where my power is made perfect. You don't have to perform for my presence. You don't have to earn my love. I'm not evaluating your worth based on your productivity. I see the heart. I know the intention. I understand your humanity. That's why I sent my spirit to live in you, not as a reward for perfection, but as a gift of constant companionship. You are not alone in this. You never were. Even in your lowest moments, I was there, not judging, not distant, but holding you up in ways you couldn't see, strengthening you when you thought you had none, whispering truth into the lies, covering you with mercy when you didn't know how to pray. My presence has never left you, and it never will. You've been asking for signs, for confirmation, for some kind of proof that you're still on the right path. And here it is. This word, this moment, this stirring in your spirit. That's me. That's the clarity you've been waiting for. Not a booming voice from heaven, but the still, quiet assurance in your soul that says, I'm here. Keep going. You don't need to see the destination. Right now, you just need to trust the direction. And I promise as you continue to walk by faith, I will continue to show up in ways that remind you you're not lost. You're led. Stop rehearsing failure in your mind. Stop anticipating disappointment before it happens. Stop bracing yourself for the worst as a way to protect your heart. That's not faith. That's fear dressed as wisdom. I didn't give you a spirit of fear. I gave you power, love, and a sound mind. And it's time you started living like it. Take your eyes off the what-ifs and put them back on me. I'm not the author of confusion. I'm the Prince of Peace. And I've been trying to lead you into a rhythm of rest, not inactivity, but trust, not passivity, but assurance, not apathy, but peace that transcends understanding. This is your invitation to breathe again, to dream again, to hope again. The pain you've walked through has shaped you. Yes, but it does not define you. You are not the sum of your struggles. You are not the label of your lowest moment. You are my child, called, chosen, set apart, and I'm not done writing your story. You've spent so much energy trying to hold things together, trying to be strong for everyone, trying not to fall apart when no one is watching. But you were never meant to carry all of it alone. I never asked you to be the savior. That's my role. I never expected you to have all the answers. That's why I gave you access to my wisdom. You've built walls around your heart in the name of survival. But now those walls are keeping you from receiving what I want to pour into you. Let them fall. I know it feels risky. I know you've been hurt. But I am not like those who failed you. I am not like those who left. I am not like those who misunderstood your heart. My love doesn't wound. My presence doesn't abandon. My plans don't harm. They heal. There is healing waiting on the other side of surrender. And no, not the kind of surrender that feels like defeat, but the kind that feels like relief. When you finally let go of trying to control outcomes, protect yourself from every possibility of pain, and prove your worth through constant effort, you make room for me to move freely. You let grace do what striving never could. You let peace in where pressure used to live. And I'm inviting you into that now. Not tomorrow. Not someday when things calm down, but now. Because even in the storm, I can be your shelter. Even in the chaos, I can bring calm to your soul. You've asked me to open doors, and I will. But first, I'm working on the foundation because what good is a new opportunity if you still see yourself through the lens of your past? What good is a blessing if your heart is still anchored in fear? I want to bless you, but even more, I want to prepare you. I want you to step into your next season with confidence, not confusion, with clarity, not comparison, with joy, not pressure. And that's why this moment matters. This moment of stillness. This moment of redefinition. This moment of letting me remind you who you really are. You are not just a survivor. You are victorious. You are not barely making it. You are more than a conqueror. You are not forgotten. You are seen, known, and dearly loved. You are not too late. You are right on time for what I've written over your life. Stop letting the enemy use your waiting season as evidence that I've forgotten you. I haven't. I'm just setting things in place that you can't yet see. I'm aligning people, clearing obstacles, and preparing the soil for the seed to grow. You only see the dirt right now, but I see the harvest that's coming, and it's greater than what you imagined. Your journey hasn't been easy. There are parts of your story that still ache when you think about them, wounds that feel unspoken, questions that feel unanswered. And yet, I've used every piece of it to shape something sacred inside you. Compassion, discernment, wisdom, strength. Don't be ashamed of your scars. They're proof that healing is real, that you made it through what tried to destroy you, that you're not who you used to be, and that even when you felt broken, I was holding the pieces in my hands. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was too far gone. I've always had a plan for your restoration, and it's unfolding. Even now, I know there are days you don't feel worthy of that kind of grace. Days when your inner critic is louder than my voice. Days when the weight of your regrets clouds your ability to hope. But my mercy is new every morning. Not because you earned it, but because that's who I am. I am the God of second chances. I am the Father who runs toward you, not away from you. I don't flinch at your failures. I don't withdraw when you stumble. I stay. I cover. I restore. My faithfulness is not based on your performance. It's based on my covenant. And that covenant is eternal. You've cried out to me in secret, asking if it's too late. If you missed your moment, if the calling on your life has expired, let me answer you now. No, not even close. The calling I placed on your life is irrevocable. The gifts I gave you still carry purpose, and the dream you've buried under disappointment is still alive in my hands. I don't abandon what I've started. I don't change my mind when things get messy. What I began in you, I will finish. So, don't give up on what I'm still working on. Don't walk away from the miracle because it's taking longer than expected. Faith isn't about speed. It's about trust. And if you'll trust me now, I'll show you beauty rising from the ashes you thought would bury you. Let go of the pressure to figure it all out. You don't need a 10-year plan to move forward. You just need one step of obedience today. I illuminate the path as you walk it. I reveal provision as you move in faith. I am the God who makes a way where there was none, and I will lead you even through unfamiliar territory, even through seasons that don't make sense, even through silence because I don't need noise to speak. I just need your attention and you have mine. I've seen your heart. I've heard your prayers, and I'm responding not always in the way you expect, but always in the way you need. So stop apologizing for who you are. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Stop silencing your light just because the world doesn't understand it. I made you on purpose. I wired you uniquely. I placed something in you that cannot be replicated. And that uniqueness isn't a flaw. It's your fingerprint. It's your calling. It's your power. Don't hide it. Don't water it down. Don't wait for permission to be the fullness of who I created you to be. The world needs what's in you, and I'm calling it forth. Now, not later. Not when you feel ready, but now. Because this moment is sacred. This moment is part of your becoming. There's a light in you that darkness has tried to extinguish more times than you can count. Through betrayal, through loss, through overwhelming circumstances that made you question everything. The enemy hoped you would break, give up, go numb, or walk away from me entirely. But here you are, still breathing, still reaching, still longing for my voice. And that hunger in you, that's evidence that the flame is still alive, maybe flickering, maybe hidden under layers of pain, but still alive, and I can work with that. I always have. I specialize in restoring what others say is ruined. I delight in resurrecting what was declared dead. And I'm doing that in you even now. I never asked you to be perfect. I asked you to be present. I asked you to let me into the places you've kept locked away, the fears, the insecurities, the moments you'd rather forget. I already see them, but when you bring them into the light, something sacred happens. Shame loses its grip. Lies lose their power. Healing begins to flow. You don't need to clean yourself up before coming to me. I meet you in the mess. I kneel in the dirt beside you. I put my hand on your shoulder, not to scold, but to comfort, to lift your chin and remind you there's still purpose here. There's still beauty. There's still me. Sometimes you confuse peace with passivity. You think that if things aren't moving fast, I must not be doing anything. But peace isn't the absence of motion. It's the presence of trust. It's resting in the truth that I am who I say I am, even when you don't see it yet. It's standing in the middle of uncertainty and declaring, I still believe. That kind of faith moves mountains. That kind of faith catches heaven's attention. And that's what I see in you. Not blind hope, but courageous belief. You've had 1,000 reasons to quit, but you stayed. You've been tempted to numb yourself, to hide, to close off your heart, but you didn't. That's not weakness. That's victory. You may not have a crowd cheering for you, but all of heaven rejoices every time you take one more step in obedience. Every time you choose kindness over bitterness. Every time you forgive without getting an apology. Every time you speak life when it would be easier to stay silent. Those moments matter. They are sacred, and they are building something eternal. You don't need a platform to be powerful. You don't need recognition to be relevant. In my kingdom, it's the unseen acts of faith that carry the greatest weight. So don't despise the quiet seasons. Don't overlook the hidden places. That's where roots grow. That's where strength is forged. I know you're tired of waiting. I know you're longing for breakthrough. And it's coming not always in the way you expect, but in the way that will truly set you free. Because I'm not interested in shallow answers or temporary fixes. I'm after deep transformation, the kind that doesn't just change your circumstances, but changes your heart. That kind of change takes time. It requires surrender. It asks you to trust when the outcome isn't clear. But if you hold on, if you keep walking, I promise you'll see what I've been preparing. And when it comes, it will be worth every tear, every delay, every no, every detour. You've asked me to speak, and I am. In this moment, through this word, I am. Reminding you of what your spirit already knows. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not too broken to be healed. You are not too far gone to be restored. I specialize in redemption. I take what was meant for evil and turn it into testimony. I take shattered dreams and turn them into stories of glory. And I'm doing that with your life. Every moment you thought was wasted is being woven into something beautiful. Not despite your pain, but through it. The enemy wanted you to be silent. He wanted you to stay stuck. But I've placed a voice in you, a voice of truth, a voice of hope, a voice of fire. And it's time to use it. Not to prove your worth, but to proclaim mine, to speak life into dead places, to call out identity in others, to stand in authority and declare what I've spoken over you. You've been quiet long enough. You've hidden long enough. Now is the time to risen not in arrogance, but in divine confidence because you know who you are. You know whose you are, and that changes everything. Stop minimizing your anointing to make others comfortable. Stop editing your story to make it more palatable. Stop shrinking back when I've called you to move forward. There's a fire in your bones that won't be quenched by fear. There's a mantle on your life that can't be removed by man. And there's a destiny over your days that I myself have written. So walk boldly, love deeply, speak truthfully, and know that I go before you, beside you, and within you. You are not stepping into the unknown alone. You're stepping into promises that have been waiting for your yes. And that's all I need from you. Not perfection, not performance, just your yes, your willing heart, your open hands, your surrendered soul. I can do more with 5 loaves and 2 fish than you can with 100 plans. I can multiply what you offer in faith. I can breathe on what you've surrendered and turn it into something holy. So don't hold back. Don't wait until you feel ready. Bring me your little. Bring me your fear. Bring me your desire. I will meet you in the offering, and I will show you what I've been preparing. In the silence, you've been carrying so much on your own responsibilities that were never yours to bear. Expectations placed on you by others. Lies whispered to your heart that you accepted as truth. And even though you've grown strong under the weight, I never intended for you to live that way. Strength is not proven by how much you can carry in silence. True strength is found in surrendering, letting go of what drains your soul so you can receive what fills it. And I'm calling you into that place of release now. Lay it down. Lay down the guilt you've carried for mistakes long forgiven. Lay down the need to control what's outside your hands. Lay down the pressure to have it all figured out. I didn't choose you because you're flawless. I chose you because you're willing. And willingness is the doorway to glory. I've watched you fight battles no one else saw. I've seen you pray through tears, worship through heartbreak, and keep going when quitting seemed easier. Those moments were not forgotten. Not by me, not by heaven. Every act of faith, no matter how small, has echoed through eternity. And now I'm bringing you into a new season, not just of blessing, but of becoming. This is not about going back to who you were. It's about stepping fully into who I've always seen you to be. The old limitations don't define you. The past does not have the final word. I do. And I say you are chosen. You are set apart. You are anointed for this time, this place, this calling. Stop comparing your journey to theirs. Stop measuring your progress by someone else's timeline. I am doing something unique in you, something that can't be replicated or rushed. You are not behind. You are being prepared. And every delay, every detour, every quiet moment has purpose. Even the pain has been part of the preparation. It softened your heart. It sharpened your vision. It pulled you closer to me. And that closeness is the real treasure. Not the platform, not the outcome. Me. I am your reward. I am your source. I am the one who sees the whole picture and orchestrates every detail for your good. I've placed a fire in your spirit that no storm can put out. But fire must be tended. It must be fed with truth, protected from lies, and fanned into flame by presence. You can't do that in isolation. I never meant for you to walk this journey alone. You need my voice daily, not just in moments of desperation. You need community, not just people who like you, but people who speak life, who sharpen you, who remind you of who you are when you forget. And yes, I know you've been hurt before. I know opening your heart again feels risky, but isolation will starve your soul. And I'm inviting you back into connection, not just with others, but with me. There's a rhythm to grace, and it's slower than the world's pace. The world pushes, but I lead. The world demands, but I invite. The world says, strive. I say abide. I don't need your hustle. I want your heart. And when your heart is fully mine, I'll open doors you couldn't force open with all your effort. I'll bring opportunities you didn't chase. I'll release favor. That doesn't make sense on paper, but will make sense in my kingdom because I promote the humble. I elevate the faithful. I crown the surrendered. And your surrender is the seed of miracles. Remember what I've already done. The times I made a way when there was none. The moments you felt my peace. When everything around you was falling apart. The doors that closed and later you saw why. The times you prayed and didn't get the answer you wanted. But looking back, you see, I was protecting you. I've never failed you, and I won't start now. My track record in your life is faithfulness. My character is unchanging. My promises are sure. And what I've started in you, I will complete. Not because you earned it, but because I'm good. Because I'm your father. Because I love you far more than you can comprehend. You don't need to perform to stay in my favor. You don't need to be on all the time to keep my attention. I'm not like people who get bored or distracted. My eyes are always on you. My spirit lives within you, and I take delight in your being, not just your doing. You are my child, not my employee. You are my beloved, not my burden. So breathe. Be still. Let your soul catch up to your body. Let your heart exhale. You're not running out of time. You're not missing your moment. You are exactly where you need to be for me to move. I want to remind you of the authority you carry. You've been speaking like a victim when I've called you victorious. You've been walking like a servant when I've called you a son, a daughter, an heir. Lift your head and square your shoulders. You're not begging for scraps. You're seated at my table. You don't have to prove your worth. I declared it when I formed you. You don't have to earn my love. I lavished it on you before you knew my name. So speak with authority. Pray with boldness. Worship with fire. Live with the confidence of one who knows they are fully known and fully loved. This is not the end of your story. It's a new chapter. One where the voice of shame is silenced. One where joy is no longer delayed. One where you walk in the fullness of your identity and the freedom of your calling. You won't be defined by what broke you, but by who rebuilt you. You won't be remembered for your fall, but for your rising. and your rising begins now. You've already come so far, but there is still more. More healing, more intimacy, more power, more purpose. And it's waiting for you. Not at some distant point in the future, but right here in the next breath, in the next step, in the next yes. I want you to know that I see the future you can't yet see. And I'm not worried. The path ahead may still hold challenges, but none of them are greater than my presence within you. You are walking into territory that I've already conquered. You are stepping into days that I have already filled with provision, protection, and purpose. And though fear will try to whisper lies, telling you that you're not ready, that you're not enough, that you're too late, I am here to silence that voice with my truth. You are more than ready because I have equipped you. You are enough because I made you. And you are right on time because I am never late. You've been through fire and you didn't burn. You walked through floods and you didn't drown. Not because you're indestructible, but because I was with you. My hand held you steady when you couldn't stand. My mercy surrounded you when guilt tried to consume you. My grace lifted you when shame weighed you down. And now, with every part of you that survived, I will build something new, something holy, something unshakable. Not in the absence of trials, but in the presence of unwavering trust. Because trust is what keeps your feet planted when the winds rage. Trust is what allows peace to bloom where panic once ruled. And trust is the door I am asking you to walk through today. There will still be moments when you feel uncertain. There will still be days when old patterns try to creep back in, but they will not define you. Your past doesn't get to write your future. I do. And I say you are free. I say you are whole. I say you are ready. I don't need you to pretend to be strong. I need you to remember that I am. I don't need polished prayers. I want honest ones. I don't need you to impress me. I want you to trust me. When your hands are empty, mine are full. When your plans fall apart, my will stands firm. And when your heart feels faint, my spirit breathes strength into you. Let me be the center again, not just in crisis, not just when you're desperate, but always. Let my voice be the one that guides your steps and calms your storms. Let my words shape your thoughts and anchor your days. You don't need to chase every opportunity. Just stay close to me and I will open the right ones. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone. Let me remind you of who you are. You don't need to rush ahead. I walk with you at the pace of grace. And in that grace, there is room to grow, to heal, to rise, to become everything I dreamed when I formed you in your mother's womb. Do you feel that stirring in your soul? That's me calling you. Deeper, calling you forward, calling you home. You were never meant to just survive. You were meant to live fully, freely, boldly, and beautifully. Not bound by fear, but liberated by truth. Not defined by wounds, but marked by wonder. You are my masterpiece. Still in progress, still unfolding, still becoming. And I delight in the process, not just the outcome. Every step you take with me is sacred. Every tear you cry in my presence is noticed. Every moment you pause to listen, I draw near. I'm not far. I never was. This is your time to remember how far you've come, to remember what I've spoken, to remember who you are. You've been through the wilderness, but now you are coming into promise. And no, it won't always be easy, but it will be worth it because I walk with you, because I go before you, because I prepare the way and strengthen your frame. And even when the enemy tries to rise again, you'll stand taller than before. Not because the battle is gone, but because now you know who you are in the midst of it. Victorious, unshaken, mine. You don't need to understand everything to move forward. You don't need to have all the answers to take the next step. Just take it with me. I'll show you where to go, when to rest, what to release, and what to fight for. I'll give you wisdom beyond your years and peace that passes understanding. I'll surround you with favor and fill you with fire. You will walk with clarity. You will move with purpose. You will love without fear. And where you once felt broken, you will be a wellspring of healing for others. Because nothing you've been through is wasted. Not one scar, not one tear, not one unanswered prayer. I redeem it all. You've asked me to speak, and I have. You've asked for confirmation, and here it is. You've asked for strength, and I am pouring it into your bones. This is not a motivational speech. It's a divine impartation. Receive it. Let it take root. Let it transform how you think, how you speak, how you live. From this moment forward, walk like someone who knows they are chosen. Love like someone who knows they are forgiven. Rise like someone who knows their name is written in my book, sealed in my hands, and echoed in heaven. You are not a mistake. You are not forgotten. You are mine. I am not done with you. Amen. And now, my child, if this word awakened something in you, if it reached into a quiet place of your soul and reminded you of your worth, then do not let it stop here. Share this message so another heart can find healing. Speak it aloud to your own spirit. When fear returns, come back to it in the moments when doubt tries to rise again. And if your heart feels stirred, if you sense that I am calling others through you, then let them know. Invite them to hear. Invite them to receive. Subscribe not just to a channel, but to the journey of my voice in your daily walk. Let this be the beginning of something deeper. Because what I've started in you, I will finish. And what I've planted through this word will grow. Not by might, not by power, but by my spirit always.